by merging the levy together with the fines and fees. In my time, this has never been done, and I think it's really unethical to go about it this way.
The City Council is expected to vote on the full budget later this week, but not without another showdown with Alderman Bill Conway.
We can't balance this budget just by asking working families and taxpayers to pay more while we in the city are not doing anything to make city government more efficient.
The mayor and council are facing an end-of-year deadline to pass the city's 2025 spending plan or risk the city's first budget shutdown. The mayor can also not afford to lose any more votes in a divided city council. West suburban residents packed a church last night for a candlelight vigil honoring the memory of fallen Oak Park Police Detective Alan Reddings. However, the St. Christopher's Episcopal Church event actually turned into an anti-Second Amendment peace vigil. Reddings was shot and killed in the line of duty Friday morning, and on Saturday, a Chicago man was charged in his murder. A judge is expected to rule this morning on potential testimony from former state representative Eddie Acevedo as former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan's corruption trial enters the AT&T phase. Acevedo's attorney claimed the former lawmaker has dementia, and defense attorneys objected to Acevedo being called. Chicago Democrat was sentenced in 2022 to 6 months in prison for tax evasion. Prosecutors say Acevedo got paid by AT&T and ComEd for do-nothing jobs. Former state rep Jeannie Ives says Acevedo was simply a Madigan ally.
Eddie Acevedo was a useful idiot. He didn't know his legislation. He was given his talking points from staff. He passed whatever they wanted to. He was just a tool in Madigan's toolbox, and that's all he was.
Judge John Robert Blakey met with Acevedo in his chamber Tuesday afternoon and said he would make a ruling this morning. An Oregon federal court granted a preliminary injunction in his lawsuit challenging the proposed $25 billion merger between Albertsons and Kroger that includes Jewel-Osco and Mariano's here in the Chicago area. An Illinois man accused of assaulting U.S. Representative Nancy Mace. Police say James McIntyre assaulted the South Carolina Republican last night on Capitol grounds. McIntyre is charged with assaulting a government official. Mace posting on social media, she will be okay. McIntyre is a self-appointed speaker on some transgender issues. Contrasting concerns around the impacts of U.S. immigration policy were on display Tuesday at the nation's capital. Here's AM 560's Greg Bishop in Springfield.
Acknowledging there are 13 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S., Illinois U.S. Senator Dick Durbin held a Judiciary Committee hearing focused on what Democrats said is a threat from President-elect Donald Trump's mass deportation policies.
It was an undocumented worker who was watching your grandchild this morning at the daycare center. Undocumented worker who walked carefully with your mother back to her room after breakfast so she didn't fall down. It was an undocumented worker with that leaf blower in your front yard over the weekend.
In the U.S. House Homeland Security Committee Tuesday, New York U.S. Representative Anthony D'Esposito said an open border hurts public safety.
Instead of supporting suspected criminals endangering our nation's police officer, we should be securing the southwest border.
I'm Greg Bishop.
Trump borders our Tom Homan in Chicago on Monday night said anyone, including elected officials found harboring illegal aliens, will be prosecuted. A Chicago teen is facing a slew of felony charges connected with a string of robberies and attacks that unfolded on CTA train platforms. The charges stemming from the teen in being involved, according to prosecutors, in 4 robberies and batteries on CTA train platforms. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office working to identify remains believed to be a Skokie woman. The Evanston Police Department found that body back on November 30th in a heavily wooded area in the 2300 block of Oakton Street. The clothing and belongings found with the body matched those of Searing Wengyo, who was reported missing more than 5 months ago. Illinois' largest water utility has been granted a rate hike, but not as large as they were hoping for. The Illinois Commerce Commission cut portions of Illinois American Water's request for sewer and water services by over 30%. Jim Chilson is with the Citizens Utility Board.
It's important for the Illinois Commerce Commission to see that real consumers are impacted by these rate hikes and by their decisions.
In November, Illinois residents protested the proposed rate increases as well as a rate hike from Aqua, Illinois. Cubs Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg is battling cancer again. The second baseman announcing yesterday his prostate cancer has returned. Sandberg was diagnosed with cancer in January but was deemed cancer-free in August. Sandberg added the cancer has metastasized, spread to other organs, and he will undergo more intensive treatment. Fighting Illini bounced back from their first conference loss of the season with a convincing 86-80 win over number 22 Wisconsin.
You stay in this long enough, certain things happen. That's a really good basketball team we beat, and every team has a little bit of difference and a little bit of identity that's different. And
Coach Brad Underwood, DePaul beaten by Providence 70-63 in overtime. Last night, Demons fall to 7-2. Hot Stove Baseball, the Northsiders get the number 17 pick in next year's MLB draft. The White Sox earned the 10th pick in the MLB draft lottery. The Nationals won the lottery with a 10.2% chance. The news is a service of Turnkey.pro. Turnkey will fully protect your network with up-to-date cyber protection, unlimited backup, unlimited 24/7 help desk. Protect your small business today. Visit Turnkey.pro today. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-298-9534. That's 800-298-9534. 800-298-9534.
It's 5:12. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of Discover. Maybe it's time to face facts you're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. 8094 Northwest Indiana westbounders. You've got big-time construction work overnight between the Indiana Toll Road and Clay, and ongoing stop-and-go traffic this morning on 8094. Structure fire on Chicago's south side. Englewood neighborhood, 59th and Halstead. Hot spots are being doused from an overnight fire, and that intersection is bottled up. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with AccuWeather's Steve Williams.
Windy, chilly day. Times of clouds and sun. A snow shower this afternoon. Our high today at 30. For tonight, breezy this evening. Clearing and frigid. Low tonight down to 6. For tomorrow, brisk, a very cold day. Sun and clouds. The high tomorrow at 19. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Steve warns that for some of you out in the far western suburbs, that's 6 below overnight. That's for the interior western suburbs. Farther west, could get down to 3 or 2 above. Right now, though, 28 degrees. Your next news is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Sean Thompson. When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have somebody else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement, but you don't have a plan customized to your goals, it's like kind of taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in the suitcase. Sounds like a stressful way to begin what should be a relaxing time. Tom Fortino at Alpha Wealth Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to reduce future taxes, address Social Security and healthcare, and a whole lot more, all with a clear, defined income strategy. Call the Alpha Wealth Group at 630-934-1855. Ask for the complimentary retirement plan. That's 630-934-1855 or online at alphawealthgroup.com. And listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. right here on AM 560.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
The truth is, viruses cannot be killed, and unlike bacteria, viruses are not alive. A virus is what we call a biologic entity, but we can still do something. We can destroy a virus or even keep it from being able to launch its attack on our bodies before, during, and after exposure. And this is why you need to get the kit. Our winter survival kit. Your body can protect you from these infectious bugs, but it needs a little help building up its immune defenses. And the best offense is a great defense. And that's why you need the kit. It's a perfect strategy for every infectious bug, as well as those non-living, can't-kill viruses. Our winter survival kit is a must for your home or workplace. It contains targeted nutritional components that can get the job done before, during, and after any infectious exposure. So get the kit. For details, call our Health Quest radio hotline, 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. It's Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
When you're looking to make your business bulletproof, what comes to mind? Trustworthiness? Accuracy? Truthiness? Well, that's not even a real word. In today's competitive business landscape, considerations like trust, attention to service, accuracy, and knowledge are critical. So is cost. And finding the right balance is important, especially where your business insurance, employee benefits, and executive compensation needs are concerned. For bulletproofing your business, remember DSP Insurance Services. DSP is family-owned and has provided comprehensive risk management solutions and strategic excellence across industries for over 40 years. Business owners continue to partner with DSP because they offer the robust services of a national broker, yet a personal touch that is harder than ever to find these days. Contact DSP Insurance Services for a business and risk audit today. Visit online at dspmybusiness.com. That's dspmybusiness.com. DSP Insurance, your outsourced risk management department since 1981.
The holidays are here again, and it's really getting cold outside. It's time to snuggle up by the fireplace with a delicious mug full of Bob's Belgian hot chocolate. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Each sip is so rich, so luxurious, and oh so chocolatey. Bob makes his hot chocolate with 100% imported Belgian chocolate, and it's so easy to make. You just stir it into hot milk and voila! You just made yourself the best hot chocolate ever. You can buy Bob's Belgian Hot Chocolate mix and sticks online at bobsbelgianhotchocolate.com or visit us at Chris Kindle Markets at Daily Plaza, Wrigley, and Aurora. Come on out and join in on all of the holiday fun with visitors from all over the world. We can click our glasses and wish each other good cheer with a delicious mug full of Bob's Belgian Hot Chocolate. Oh my gosh, it's so good. bobsbelgianhotchocolate.com.
Hi, I'm Tom, founder and CEO of FreedomSquare.com and the newly launched Freedom Chamber. FreedomChamber.net is the pro-American business network. Together with our co-founders, we have built this network to help our members and partners grow, to share in exclusive benefits, and have a strong voice in Washington, D.C. Consider joining us.
Hi, I'm Dave Bratt, the Patriot economist and co-founder of the Freedom Chamber. Come join us, and together we will save this great republic.
Hi, I'm Eric Oldhausen, a co-founder of Old Glory Bank and a founding member of the Freedom Chamber. I'd love to encourage you to sign up yourself and join other patriotic businesses in helping to make America great.
I'm Alfredo Ortiz, CEO of Job Creators Network and a co-founding member of the Freedom Chamber. The Freedom Chamber actually is a voice, and it's a united voice of small and medium-sized businesses that is so desperately needed across the country. Go to freedomchamber.net and sign up and join today.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Wednesday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft. Good morning, my friend.
If the mic, good morning.
Oh, there. Does the mic work?
Yeah, it worked.
Okay. How was your ride into work, partner?
Long.
I know. You get
Very
there.
long and cold.
Well, sometimes you have dramatic moments in your car, and one happened the other day because you and I, we don't just do the show together. We're actually friends.
Yeah.
And we were, talking. And you said you got a gift from God, or God put you in the right place at the right time.
Oh, yeah. So I think it's been 2 days ago. Just dropping the kids off from school, and it's about 8:40 something in the morning, I believe it was. And I see a kid sitting off in the ditch on the road, or what's called Jones Road, nearby my house. And he had his face in his hands, and he was just like, you could tell something was disturbing him. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm tired. And I said, I got to go home. And then I literally heard the voice of God say, no, turn around, go talk to this kid. So I turned around, made a U-turn when it was safe to do so, and got back. And I said, hey, you okay? You need any help? And he goes, no, I'm okay. And I knew right then and there something wasn't right with the kid. And so then I said, do you mind if I get out? I said, and then as I'm getting out of the car, I said, you don't have any weapons or anything on you, because I didn't know what he was, there to do. And I said, no, you sure you're okay? And he goes, nah, I just had to get away from school because, it's just too much stress for me at school. And so then I continue to talk to him, and I finally get him to tell me he was thinking about killing himself. And I said...
And so he was a high school kid.
He was a high school
nearby
kid.
High school.
Yeah, I've come to find out later he's just a young 17-year-old kid who's just was struggling. And so we start talking back and forth, and I tell him my story about my son, and you can see the light go back off into his eyes, because I started talking to him about just how it affects. I said, if you went about doing it and offing yourself and committing suicide, I said, what you have to understand, it doesn't affect just you. It affects so many more people. And I started tearing up, and I started choking up, and I said 3 years later, and I'm still, some days I can't even get out of bed thinking about my son. I said, because then he told me he had a mom and a dad. Mom works midnights, dad works midnights, mom works during the day. And I started talking to him, and I said, I don't feel comfortable leaving you here alone. Can you call your parents? He goes, no, mom's asleep. Well, dad's asleep, mom's at work, so no, I don't want to bother them. So then I requested to give his number. What was crazy about this? I'm on the phone with Babette Holder, former Belly of the Beast host here on AM 560.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm on the phone with her, and I hear her hit record because she was recording. She said, and she told me this was about me protecting you, just in case this kid said anything. And so probably a little more than half of our conversation, Babette had it recorded. And I don't want to play that because I wouldn't want to, violate this kid's, because he gave his name. He gave me his name, gave me his number. And he called me, and I told him, I said, hey, here's my number. If you, if you're not going to have somebody come here to pick you up, at least text me. And I made him promise. And he said, I promise, Mr. Anthony, I'll text you. So he made it home because it was about a 25. I didn't want to put him in my car. I initially thought about calling Joliet police, but I felt like I built such a bond of trust with him. I didn't want to violate that trust.
Right.
And
he had no weapons, right?
He had no weapons. He had no weapons or anything on him. And so I mean, when I told him my story about what happened with me, he had siblings, and I said, "Do you understand what that will do to them?" I said, "Let me tell you." And I told him the story about how my son committing suicide has affected him, affected the rest of my kids and the rest of my family.
Because they were home at the time.
Yeah, well, she was 16 at the time. My 16-year-old was there at the time, and the other 3 didn't really know what happened.
Yeah.
But I said to myself, because he texted me, he let me know he had made it home, and a friend said to me, "I think you needed that more than that kid did." And I'm not. I did. I know I needed that more. I needed that incident to happen because I said to myself, if I just said I want to get home because I was tired, and not been able to stop this kid from self-harming himself, what would have? And one of the things he said was, he said so many cars had passed me by, and he said I was hoping that somebody had stopped and talked me out of doing what I was going to do. And now I think he was just going to run and jump out in front of a car because he was that close to the roadway.
And that does happen. We had a dear friend in high school that was on Palatine Road, put all black on, in the middle of the night, just dove out in front of a semi truck.
Yeah. So I felt like that was such a powerful God moment. I think it brought a lot of healing for my own heart, and I'm sure that. And now I'm in contact with the kid now. And I told him, there's anything you ever need. If you ever feel like you're at this place in your life again, just pick up the phone and call.
Right. Do you think it was the pressures of high school?
Yeah. Well, I won't say what race, but if I said it, you'd understand why.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Asian?
Yeah. He looked like he was a mixed Asian race kid. And it was just so surreal. And I walked away home. I got home and I had a heavy headache. Because I spent about 20 minutes talking to this kid on the side of the road, and it's just I don't know, it did something for me that I think I needed at this time, because this is like the time where I normally take off on radio and just go on a sabbatical and just regroup for the upcoming year, especially this upcoming year.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Well,
we can't do that this year.
Yeah.
But we can't say why.
Yeah,
But because you're
why.
here today and tomorrow.
Right.
So that's good. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer any Christmas miracle stories people want to share, or anybody feel like it's not Christmas. You know what we're not doing for the first time?
What's that?
We're not having our Christmas party.
Oh, really? The station?
At the station.
Oh.
I'm calling them out on it.
Wow.
I'm so bummed. And it has nothing to do with saving young lives like you did. This is just an opportunity for me to complain about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally we, and it started out, back in the day, like, God, we used to have beautiful dinners on a weekend. Everybody would dress up at Gibson's out in the western suburbs.
And
then we would have, interactive theater. Yeah, those were our big Christmas parties back in the day.
Yeah.
15 years ago. We did a dinner party, whodunit type of things where actors came in and, each person was assigned a role. Of course, I was the starlet from California, the dingbat actress.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the killer. Steve Cochran was, I do believe. But I'm just saying we used to have elaborate affairs.
Yeah.
And now, the lunch on a Tuesday has been canceled.
Wow. Like the one you and I attended with Senator-elect Bernie Moreno. That was a great. I thought he was really good. What did you think about that?
That was the only Christmas party I've been to. How about you?
Really? Yeah, that's the only one I've been to.
Yeah. But it's okay. I was very impressed with him. And whose party was I sometimes I get invited to party. I know it was Richard Porter's party.
Well, not just Richard Porter. It was Richard Porter, Kim Gotten from Superior Ambulance, Jay Bergman from Petco Oil, and David Hill, who's the president of Superior Ambulance. And you can't forget Lisa Wagner.
Oh, that's right, Lisa. Yeah. Yes, because she's the one who brought in the senator.
Right. It used to be Dan Wagner's annual Christmas party.
Oh.
Is that the first time you've been there?
It's the first time I was invited and the first time I attended.
Oh, look at you. You got an invite.
I know. It only took 14 years, John. Am I getting somewhere?
But I thought Bernie Moreno, I really thought I look for great things to happen with him. I really hope he doesn't get changed out by the system. Because, I mean, he's just a normal, regular dude,
Right.
And I just hope he doesn't change out, once he gets to D.C.
Where was he? He wasn't born in America. He's a naturalized citizen.
Cuba,
but he is the first, he's one of the first naturalized citizens that is now a senator.
Yeah. And his wife's from the Midwest, from here, right? Didn't they say that she's from here? Yeah.
Yes, they got married in Chicago.
Yeah, so that was a great event.
Like Brett Bears. Yeah, we're going to try an effort to get him on, that's for sure. But we should be celebrating. You know why?
Why?
Because Donald Trump won the election.
Oh, that's right. I haven't been on since he won, right? In the morning.
No.
Nice. I'm ecstatic. As I have my Make America Great hat on.
You're wearing that? Yes.
In the studio, all by my lonesome.
It's okay. But we have a song for you.
Uh-oh.
This is going to make you happy. But first of all, before we play the song, I want you to know that I am so happy for you that you were at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
For that young man, and I know you will stay in touch with him.
Oh yeah.
And do you feel any need to reach out to his parents, or do you?
Well, that's the goal. I don't know. You got to be touchy. It's kind of touchy as if I'll say what he was doing. Just say we met. He had a tough day, and then I'll give the parents some tips on what to be looking for if I ever meet the parents.
All right. Well, we'll play that song later.
Wait, Amy. Somebody said
Yes,
John, be careful. Fine line. Daniel Penny's situation.
Oh.
That's why I took steps to make sure that I wouldn't get caught up in that situation.
Yeah. All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Caitlin Clark bends to the woke altar. Are you kidding me? We'll discuss that and play that Christmas song later. But now let's head into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
It's 5:31 on AM 560, The Answer. Morning, everyone. We're watching developments in South Korea this morning where the vice president has been stopped from attempting suicide while in detention during last week's martial law declaration. Officials say former Defense Ministry official Kim Hyun tried to kill himself at a detention center in Seoul. Correctional officers stopped him, and he's in stable condition. Kim was one of President Yoon Suk-yeol's close associates, has been accused of recommending martial law to Yoon and sending troops to the National Assembly to block lawmakers from voting on it. A man suspected of gunning down Brian Thompson in Manhattan remains in custody, but the NYPD has serious concerns about similar crimes. Luigi Mangione appeared in a Pennsylvania courtroom Tuesday where he challenged his extradition.
We're contesting extradition. We're going to fight this along the rules and with the constitutional protections that my client has.
Detectives say they're aggressively monitoring social media activity in and around New York regarding that topic. Firefighters continue to deal with a blaze in Southern California, destroying homes and sending thousands out of their residences in the Pepperdine Hills. Los Angeles County Fire Chief Anthony Maroney.
The fire has burned approximately 2,862 acres and is 0% contained. Over 1,500 firefighters are currently assigned to this incident.
The Franklin fire broke out in Malibu late Monday night. Taiwanese authorities moments ago report multiple Chinese ships along its shores. All this while the U.S. delivers military aid in case the island nation needs to defend itself against an invasion. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin is in Japan. promising to keep a close eye on that situation.
We'll continue to do what we can to help Taiwan acquire the means to defend itself. Again, that work continues on, but this latest activity we'll continue to monitor.
This is happening after Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te visited Hawaii and Guam. General Motors is giving up on its cruise driverless taxi service. The automaker announcing Tuesday that after spending $10 billion on the program, the amount of time and money required to expand into robot taxis is just too much. Chicago is gearing up for very cold weather over the next couple of days. Forecasters believe temps will drop tonight and tomorrow. Wind chills well below zero. In response, the city and suburbs are opening up a number of warming centers throughout the area. A bare majority of Chicago aldermen are moving forward with Mayor Brandon Johnson's latest budget proposal. The $17.3 billion spending plan was barely approved out of Finance and Budget committees yesterday, with a heavy push of scare tactics from Johnson ally Alderman Walter Burnett.
We have to get this thing done so that we don't close the city down. And if we do close the city down, we lose money.
The city council is expected to vote on the full budget later this week now, but not without another showdown with Alderman Bill Conway.
We can't balance this budget just by asking working families and taxpayers to pay more while we in the city are not doing anything to make city government more efficient.
The mayor cannot afford to lose any more votes in a divided city council. Fighting Illini bounced back from their first conference loss of the season with a convincing win over number 22 Wisconsin, 86-80. DePaul beaten by Providence in overtime, 70-63. The Demons fall to 7-2 and face Wichita State on Saturday. Hot Stove Baseball, the Northsiders received the number 17 pick in the MLB Draft Lottery. The White Sox earned the 10th pick in the MLB Draft Lottery for 2025 yesterday. Yankees handing out an historic contract with historic paper. Lefty Max Fried and the Bronx Bombers are in agreement on an 8-year, $218 million contract. The news service of Balance of Nature, fruits and veggies in a capsule. Order online at balanceofnature.com and use coupon code Chicago to save 35% as a preferred customer. Hurry, offer ends soon. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
November 2nd, 2020, marked the 100th anniversary of the first commercial radio broadcast. We're still here, and we're bigger and better than ever. You can still listen to us over this great radio station, but now there are no limitations. Your smartphone is now your smart radio. Listen to us online on the app, tunein.com, iHeartRadio, and Odyssey.com. Your smart speaker can find us too. With radio, there is no separation anxiety. We're always on. AM 560, The Answer.
Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here, and we want to tell you about our 2024 Food for the Poor campaign.
If you've listened to the station and to our show for any length of time, then you already know about Food for the Poor. They're a nonprofit, faith-based organization that provides food, water, medicine, clothing, and life-saving supplies directly to local partners in Latin America and the Caribbean.
We all know how bad the situation is right now in Latin America and the Caribbean.
For many families, the cost of food has simply become prohibitive, leading to sickness and starvation.
The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor. But in order to get this food to those who need it most, Food for the Poor needs your help. Your one-time gift of just $50 can provide life-saving food for a child for an entire year and provide their community with access to water.
To give a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673.
Or you can visit 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor or just click on the Give Life banner.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Last week in United States v. Scrimeti, the Supreme Court heard a case with major implications for the protection of minors who are suffering from gender dysphoria. The lawsuit challenged Tennessee's law banning medical gender transitions for children. The Biden administration argued Tennessee's law violates the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause because it discriminates on the basis of sex, an immutable characteristic. Any law doing so must meet a higher standard to be upheld. But Justice Alito exposed the fallacy of the administration's argument. He asked one of the attorneys if transgenderism is immutable. With that, the architecture of the administration's case crumbled. Its advocates were left to claim that somehow sex is immutable, even as gender is just a matter of personal belief at any given moment. The Supreme Court looks likely to uphold Tennessee's right to protect their children. It was a good day for the High Court.
At Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, we honor traditions, celebrate faith, and cherish memories. Take an active role in establishing your legacy for future generations by pre-planning your final arrangements today. Alleviate your loved ones of future financial burden. Lock in today's prices and take advantage of interest-free financing and no hidden fees. Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
Do the proposed tax and estate planning changes have you concerned about your future? The time to prepare is right now. Take advantage of a no-obligation conversation with a member of the Wealth Management Group team. It's a complimentary conversation focused solely on you, your goals, and how changes can impact your family's future. Call 833-WMG-PLAN or visit investwithwmg.com.
Securities and financial planning offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Power up the holiday and give a gift from the top of their wish list. Visit your local Steel dealer or shop online at steelusa.com.
5:39. Let's check our roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of Valdecast Windows for the discerning homeowner looking for high quality and professional level window replacement service. Contact Valdecast Windows, your award-winning Platinum Elite Pella certified contractor. Visit valdecast.com. Indiana stop-and-go traffic in Porter County, westbound on 94 between State Road 249 and the Indiana Toll Road. Westbounders also have stop-and-go action. Construction work the problem between the Indiana Toll Road and Clay. Southside Englewood neighborhood, 59th and Halstead shut down with an ongoing structure fire. It's mop-up from an overnight structure fire. And already the Stevenson showing brake lights, Ashland, all the way into the Dan Ryan. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Windy, clouds and sun. Watch out for afternoon snow showers and a high around 30. Currently 28. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Scott Tucker Solutions and his show Retirement Decoded. Sunday mornings at 8. Learn more at scotttuckersolutions.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
All right, got a lot of text messages about our last conversation. Let's go to, and if anybody wants to talk about it, 312-642-5600. Of course, Amy Jacobson here, John Anthony, and for Dan Proft. Somebody...
You know, before you go to the call, I want to talk about why, because I had people, well, why would you share that? I shared it because this is a tough time for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of parents just don't really understand just the pressures and what their kids are going through. So I shared it as more of an outreach so that people can know that there's help. And one of the last things I told the kid was, it's okay not to be okay. I said, that's a life lesson you'll learn, that it's okay not to be okay. Sorry,
No, that's true. And that leads back to our favorite song.
Yes, it does.
It's okay not to be okay, and don't give up. And these holiday seasons, though, this holiday season, I should say, it's hard. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that's the problem. It's very difficult. 312-642-5600 is our phone line. I know people are texting me saying they're trying to get in, so if somebody can open up those phone lines, that would help this sister very much.
I don't have control of it, so I can't help you there.
Craig in Mount Greenwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Good morning.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning.
Really good. It's always good to hear you guys, the dynamic duo there of radio. Anyways, John, that story really resonated with me because my brother, he's involved in jail ministries. He's a chaplain with the Cook County Sheriff's and he goes into the jail system. Sometimes, a couple different programs. One is with first-time offenders and that. And he says that there's so many individuals that meet him in that they haven't heard the gospel and they've trusted the Lord in that situation. And now in your situation, you've got a perfect in with that young man down the road, like you've earned an opportunity to basically be able to, at some point, when time is right, share the gospel there. And like it's hard to believe, but some of these young guys, they've never heard the gospel in that, and they're pretty much ready because of their life and everything. And the most important thing that can be accomplished here on earth is that ticket into heaven, and that's our lotto win. And most people don't. I know you know it. I hope Amy knows it too, about how when you put your faith and trust in the Lord, you're locked in for heaven one day, and that's a lotto win. And the thing with that young man, it might even lead to his family members, and who knows where that could go. So good for you to turn around and make that stop and that communication turn into a divine appointment right there.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
And John, do you think that he needs a father figure in his life, this man?
Well,
that
he has
helped?
a father. So
Well, I know, but you said he worked midnights, right? Or,
yeah.
So does he see him?
I am clueless as to the family, the family dynamics, but he just felt pressured. He felt a lot of pressures in his. As he said, I feel a lot of pressure in my head.
Yeah,
that's what he said. Those were his words.
Wonder if it's all about academics.
I believe so.
Yeah, because I mean, think back to that time. High school's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, academically, and you need to perform well in order to get to the college. Sometimes it's not the college of your dream, but it's the college of your parents' dreams.
That's true.
Which is really pathetic. So we need to advocate for ourselves. I always tell my kids to advocate for yourselves. Let me know what you want and what works for you, and we can discuss. 312-642-5600. You can also text us. Are you in charge of the text line, my man?
I have nothing. I have no control of anything.
Oh, that's so fun.
I'm sitting in your seat.
I know you're sitting in my seat, but I left you the text line up and running.
No, nothing's
young man.
there. Nothing.
All
I
right.
see. I'm not touching this. I'm not getting Justin and Quinn mad at me. I am not touching.
Quinn will
set up for
help
you.
He will help you during the break. Oh, there he is. I see him behind you.
It's set up for her, right?
Yes.
It is set up for her?
No, it's all right. All right, let's take the phones. Greg in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Good morning.
Hey, Amy, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
John, I just really want to affirm you for what you did. And there's some interesting dimensions within not only the last caller, but within your presentation. Just first of all, the fact that you share stuff like this is very, very important, not only for what you presented, the dynamics of our society and the pressure, be it on any age group, not just high school kids. We live in an age where there is absolutely hopelessness that is being pervaded by Satan, and it really does take the body of Christ, the community, to do two things. First of all, to have the ability to ask for help. There was a wonderful presentation years ago given at Willow Creek, and it talked about the fact that you have to have a healthy asker, meaning that you just can't go around in life, being silent if you have needs, that you have to ask them, and that's the whole reason why God put people together. So I just want to put that dimension on the table. And and it's kind of heartbreaking in a way, is how immediately you feared being a penny in your situation, and thus you had to take precautions on that. And I can guarantee you that that's on the minds of everybody, and thus it will be the reason why they don't take action towards somebody that they could help. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Greg, for the phone call. It's, and Penny, he's going to be honored. We're going to talk about that at the 6 o'clock hour, because I don't know if you saw it, John Anthony, and there's a lot of moving parts. Now I can't get into my audio. I was Here's a debate on CNN. Let me regroup that for a second. Here's a debate on CNN over whether or not Penny should get the Medal of Honor.
That Daniel Penny should get the Congressional Gold Medal to recognize his heroism. I'm not asking you about anyone else.
I think he ought to get medal. I think they ought to build a statue to this guy in New York City.
I think that race, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the dreaded R word. Race plays a role in this, right? And so we see it. Yes, absolutely, because statistics say that.
Wasn't there a similar case in New York City at the same time this one was going on?
That when people kill people who are white, they tend to get harsher sentences, especially if they're people of color.
What about the Jordan Williams case?
That is what happens in our criminal justice system.
First of all,
no, I'm not going to stop because race absolutely plays a role in this.
I said, what about the Jordan Williams case here in New York? Same situation. African American gets on a subway, ends up killing a guy. Grand jury tosses it out at the exact same time as the Penny case.
What about Bernard Getz?
Yes, good old CNN and Scott Jennings, who we love. And there's a congressman, he's Eli Crane out of Arizona.
Yes.
He's planning on introducing a resolution to give Daniel Penny, a U.S. Marine veteran who defended himself and others, the Congressional Gold Medal. Yeah. So,
do you want me to give my opinion about this when we talk about it later? Because I got opinions about this.
Oh, I'm sure you do, because you haven't been on the air since
then.
Yes. And he actually gave an exclusive yesterday to Judge Jeanine Pirro from Fox News. So it was really good. I haven't, because you don't hear his voice.
No.
So it was the first time we heard his voice. But speaking of race, and I know how much you love the WNBA.
Oh, yes.
Are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year, no surprise, Caitlin Clark. But she has bowed at the altar of wokeness.
Uh-oh.
And she's credited her success with white privilege. I died a little inside. All right, so she gave them an interview, or sat down. Quote, I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege.
Did she say but?
Yeah, no,
but.
Hold on.
Okay.
A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, and then continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made this league incredible, I think it's very important. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You can also comment on our text line. I know you don't care about the WNBA.
Yeah, no.
Not even at all. But you know who she is.
I do. Well, right. I mean, I didn't know. I don't. You know what? I think Lisa Leslie. That's her name. Mm-hmm. I think that's the last person I've known about the WNBA.
Well, I mean, but I can't
how long
believe
ago
she
played?
kowtowed.
Yeah.
To the, I mean, I got one email saying, Amy, I've always liked her. I still do. She's very talented and has the right to her own opinions. Yeah, we all have our right to own opinions as American citizens. But she could pay off her privilege to the black players who built the league for her.
Right. I think she could have done both without saying it was because of white privilege. Because she's right. Black players did build black women players did build the WNBA. But guess what? She's responsible for her success because she's a dang good player. I've watched the game. Yes, I did. I'll admit, Amy. I watched one game this year.
You did?
Her. Just one. I'll admit that.
Do you remember who they played?
No.
And do you remember who won the game?
No, they lost. I know they lost, but I have no idea. Aces, Smokes, or something like that. I don't know.
That sounds like a porn star, John, not a WNBA player.
I'm just telling you.
Aces, Smokes.
I watched the game, and I can see why she gets all the accolades because she's a Steph Curry, and now she could have attributed her success to the Steph Curry craze because she's the Steph Curry of the WNBA. And as I watched her, I mean, she was jacking them up from beyond three. I mean, that's what I saw. She could have done both instead of this white privilege stuff. It's a made up farcical comment, a word, I should say.
Well, isn't it, Mark? I mean, it's all, why continue with the racial tones? I mean, isn't racism over? I mean, I see is black kids and brown kids and white kids playing together, and no one's talking about race at that age group.
I have a photo in my phone. You see a person applying CPR, and what's on the ground is racism, and the media is pushing racism to try to revive it. And I think that's what you see, because it works, Amy. It works every time it's tried. Abortion and racism, those are the two hallmarks of the Democrat Party and the left today. And they work because white men and white people are afraid to push back against it. I'm not. And I don't care. You can call me a clown. You can call me Sambo. You can call me whatever you want. But if we're ever going to get this nation to a place where we can talk beyond that, this type of stuff has to stop. Stop placating to these fools.
White privilege. I mean, it's a Marxist ploy to divide society by the haves and the have-nots. Right. So she's in a position of power where, her base is white girls ages 8 to 18, and black people watch her too. And she just destroyed that.
Amy, is it a race
She's
privilege?
been so good. She's been so non-political.
Is it a race privilege or money privilege?
I don't
look at that old French actor. He black-ish, yet he got off. Why? Because he has money, he has connections, he has contacts. That's what this thing is about. It's about money. You got the money, you got the wherewithal, you got the connections. You're gonna have a privilege too.
Got a text message on my personal phone. Amy, this is repulsive. I can't get behind giving her team a shout out or even supporting her anymore.
Uh-oh.
Ew. I hope it's not over, because she is the big money maker for.
I mean, look at what she did. I mean, they had to move the games because of her. I've never heard of that. Have you? Any other player that's ever played? Have you ever? Now you follow this a lot more than me. Have you heard any other player that spiked into attendance the way she has, that's brought eyes and ears and feet to the stadiums? Have you heard anybody, any other player that has ever done this?
They played a game at Kinnick Stadium, the football stadium in Iowa, an outdoor game, and that was sold out.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, she's a money maker, and I've loved her, and because of course I'm a Hawkeye too, obviously, but she's so fun to watch, and she's so talented.
Yeah.
And then for her to come out and say that, because it's an honor to get the Athlete of the Year award, especially your rookie season in any sport. But then she's a female too, and she says that.
Amy, I'm so happy my daughters are not into that. Yesterday, my daughter had to go downtown for a doctor's visit, and she saw Trump Tower. She was like, Trump! You know what she said? I want to meet Donald Trump. She wants to meet Donald Trump. She doesn't give a hoot about what's happening in the WNBA, and none of my girls have. And I'm I think I've done my job.
This WNBA is subsidized by the NBA, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Greg in Jefferson Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Amy. Good morning, John.
Hey.
It's by doing what she did, she just relegated the WNBA to what they really are, which is meaningless. This having to change stadiums, those days are over, man. People have had it with this kind of crap, and if somebody wants to join in and become part of that program, the dollars are where it's at, and I don't know why people are so enamored with professional sports, period. I mean, the Bears, why watch those morons? A 14-year-old wouldn't have made the mistakes Eberflus made, but
Eberflus.
Back to this, WNBA is going back into the land of nowhere. You guys have a good one. Thanks.
I just hope the young white girls aren't conditioned to believe this nonsense from the day that they're born, that if you're successful, your success is reliant on black people.
Yeah, but it's not about what they believe. It's about how they're indoctrinated. I mean, education is really that's where it happens.
Right.
That's why I'm so happy my kids attend a Christian conservative school.
Show off. Roger, on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. Is Dan golfing 72 holes today somewhere in Florida? Anyway, good to have John Anthony on. It's great that you have great fill-ins. I know, Morgan, I'm going to steal this from Morgan Freeman. When is this going to stop? Okay, stop talking about racism. That's the only way it's going to stop.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, between social media and, I'm the same elitists, mostly white, are going to continue to push the agenda, because they make money off of it. It just, pitting the working class or the working poor against each other, they make money off of this. But, it gets old and especially in Chicago. I mean, this shoe has gotten so old. It's why people are sick of it here. You know, I don't know. John, good to have you on.
Thank you.
Love you, Amy. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Roger.
Yep, he's right. You know, whatever. This WNBA, that's why I don't watch it, Amy.
Okay. AM 560 WIND.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is Dr. Joe Mealy. I've been a dentist for 56 years, and I'm a certified nutritional consultant. I started taking Balance of Nature 15 years ago. I think most people think when they eat fruits and vegetables, this is their idea of fruits and vegetables. I had an apple today. I had a pear today. I had a banana. That's their fruits and vegetables. They don't understand that each one of those fruits and vegetables has different nutrients than the others. Balance of Nature has made a significant difference in my life, in my wife's life. I feel we're on this earth to help each other, and if other people can benefit from my experience, I think that would be one of the best ways I could justify still being here at 81.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off your first preferred set with free shipping as a new preferred customer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Daniel Penny speaks. We'll discuss, but now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Aldermen advance Mayor Johnson's budget plan. An Illinois man charged with assault at the nation's capital. And the State Flag Commission selects 10 finalists for the redesign contest. A win for the Fighting Illini over Wisconsin. And WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
He's jailed in Pennsylvania and wants to stay there. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. This suspected gunman in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is fighting extradition to New York, where Luigi Mangione is charged with murder. His lawyer, Thomas Dickey, says Mangione is presumed innocent
until you're proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt, and I've seen zero evidence at this point.
Mangione shouted at reporters on the way to a Pennsylvania hearing where bail was denied. His writings, ranting about health care and corporate greed, are part of the investigation. His former roommate, R.J. Martin, tells Fox,
I feel strange because he was a great friend, and I would consider him, a close friend, and that somebody who would assassinate somebody is completely incompatible with the person that I lived with.
A man's under arrest in Washington in the alleged assault of a congresswoman. Nancy Mace, a Republican, posted on X that she was accosted by a pro-trans man last night, adding it will only make her double down. After last month, Mace introduced a bill to ban transgender women from using female restrooms at the Capitol. A mystery endures for unidentified flying objects.
Telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez at a House hearing. The FBI's Robert Wheeler Jr. answered.
That's right. It's crazy. That's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
Some lawmakers fear China could be somehow involved. The drones are big and have been spotted since mid-November. President Biden, on his way out of office soon, is boasting.
Most economists agree the new administration is going to inherit a fairly strong economy.
Now, he also warns that looming Trump tariffs on Canada and Mexico would be a major mistake, though economic worries were a main reason the president-elect won the White House again. In California, a wildfire rages in Malibu, scorching 3,000 acres, burning down some homes. Thousands of people have evacuated, and more might have to.
We highly encourage residents in the fire areas to be prepared, have a plan.
Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff's Captain Jennifer Situ. America's listening to Fox News.
"28 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago gearing up for very cold weather over the next couple of days. Forecasters believe temps will drop tonight and tomorrow. Wind chills below zero. Snow coming around afternoon rush today. A bare majority of Chicago aldermen are moving forward with Mayor Brandon Johnson's latest budget proposal, the $17.3 billion spending plan approved out of Finance and Budget committees yesterday with a heavy push of scare tactics From Johnson ally Alderman Walter Burnett.
Done so that we don't close the city down. And if we do close the city down, we lose money.
The proposal includes a $68 million property tax hike, as well as other tax and fee increases. Alderman Scott McKay says the way the measure was passed was unethical.
What we saw today, too, was just really poor governing practices in terms of finance by merging the levy together with the fines and fees. In my time, this has never been done, and I think it's really unethical to go about it this way.
City Council is expected to vote on the full budget later this week. The Mayor Brandon Johnson, can also not afford to lose any more votes in a divided City Council. A judge is expected to rule today on potential testimony from former State Rep Eddie Acevedo's. Former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan's corruption trial enters the AT&T phase. Acevedo's attorney claimed the former lawmaker has dementia, and defense attorneys objected to Acevedo being called. An Oregon federal court granted a preliminary injunction challenging the proposed $25 billion merger between Albertsons and Kroger. It includes and will impact Jewel Osco and Mariano's stores in our area. An Illinois man is accused of assaulting U.S. Representative Nancy Mace. Police say James McIntyre assaulted the South Carolina Republican last night on Capitol grounds. Mace is okay. McIntyre is a self-appointed speaker on transgender issues. And the U.S. Postal Service is investigating after a staffer of State Rep Barbara Hernandez fell ill after opening a letter sent to her Aurora office. The incident happened on Monday. Fighting Illini bounced back from their first conference loss of the season with a convincing 86-80 win over number 22, Wisconsin. The 7-2 Illini host number 1 Tennessee Saturday. DePaul beaten by Providence in overtime, 70-63. The Blue Demons fall to 7-2. The Bears gearing up for their Week 15 contest against Sam Darnold and the Vikings starting today. The news is a service of Papa Nicholas Coffee, a Chicagoland tradition for over 5 generations, combining heritage and innovation in every cup. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee because great coffee is their family tradition. Online at papanicholas.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio every Sunday morning at 9. Presented by Lang Home Medical Equipment, Executive Green Carpet Cleaning, and by Valdecast Windows and Doors. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about your home improvement. Right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Better is around the corner in 2025. Feeling better, of course, getting rid of joint pain for once and for all. And QC Kinetics is where it's at. Their patients are able to walk up and down the stairs, sit and get back up. They can finally sleep. Wouldn't it be great to feel normal again? And that could be you. So call QC Kinetics now, today. Say goodbye to shoulder, knee, hip, and back pain. Saturday appointments available, no downtime. Just imagine a new year without achy joints. QC Kinetics uses the healing properties of your own body to attack the root cause of your pain. If you've been told surgery is your best or only option, you deserve a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free, and you can use HSA and FSA dollars. Live your best life in 2025. Get started now. Call 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. QC Kinetics. Call 312-809-5955.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay. Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or Avastin Captain Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Balance of Nature makes a difference in my well-being and how I feel and everything. It's true. It makes a difference. If you take Balance of Nature, you have a happy day because you just feel a little better. It's like a restaurant in New Orleans. Her famous saying was, when you come to our restaurant, you leave a little happier than when you got here. And that's what Balance of Nature does. It lets your day be a little happier than it would be without the Balance of Nature.
Merry Christmas! This season, be part of the cheer and save big with our exclusive Christmas deal. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set. Don't miss out. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive Christmas offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
6:08, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of almostfreeteeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. Find out how you could save 90% off on average. To get your smile back, check if you qualify, almostfreeteeth.com. Kennedy, an accident inbound right at the circle this morning, causing some delays heading for downtown. Also problems this morning on 8094 in northwest Indiana. Stop-and-go traffic westbound between the Indiana Toll Road and Clay, all due to construction work. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast with Steve Williams.
Windy, chilly day. Times of clouds and sun. A snow shower this afternoon. Our high today at 30. For tonight, breezy this evening. Clearing and frigid. Low tonight down to 6. For tomorrow, brisk, a very cold day. Sun and clouds. The high tomorrow at 19. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
28 and clouds at O'Hare. 29 at Midway. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Wednesday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft. You always fill in, brother, when we have some breaking news or strong talk topics to discuss, and I'm so glad that you're here.
That's true.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having
Daniel Penny. Oh, we all know that name now. He's breaking his silence, giving an exclusive interview to Judge Janine Pirro just a few days after a jury found him not guilty in the choking death of Jordan Neely.
He was just threatening to kill people. Mm-hmm. He was threatening to go to jail forever, go to jail for the rest of his life. And now where I'm on the ground with him, I'm on my back in a very vulnerable position. If I just would have let go, now he turns.
Why is that a vulnerable position?
Well, if I just let him go, I'm on my back now. He can just turn around and start doing what he said to me. So
killing,
hurting.
And that was the former Marine describing what was racing through his mind when he was on that subway floor subduing Neely, who's a schizophrenic, homeless man, high on K2, and, railing violently at passengers, saying that, today's the day he's going to die or go to jail. And when the police arrived, Penny, who has been taking the subway, John, for his entire life, believe it or not, I didn't know that, he told police, he's like, this guy's high on K2 because he was so strong and it was physically exhausting, like keeping him down because he was so cracked up. I don't know what K2 is. Is it like crack?
No, it's that kratom. I believe that's what it is. It's. I believe we tried to ban that here in Illinois. Let me look it up. I don't want to, be wrong, but I believe we tried to ban that here in Illinois.
Since he was arrested a year and a half ago, Penny's endured years, as you know, of vicious left-wing attacks, people who vilified him as a racist. But he told Judge he has absolutely no regrets.
What in you caused you to want to get involved?
I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. I think this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable. And I would prefer without it. I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed.
The day that he did that, I thought that was a great day for New York. I mean, he didn't mean to kill him,
right,
but the fact that he took him off the subway. He had 42 arrests in 7 years, and he was on a top 50 mentally ill list of people who needed help in New York.
Yeah.
And he had open warrants for assaulting women on the subway. He attacked 3 different women, 3 different years, like openly punched a 67-year-old woman for no reason. And, of course, the mainstream media is passing him off like he's some street artist, some Michael Jackson wannabe his life was cut short from what, he hoped to accomplish.
Right.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. I love it because AOC, she has a little bit of egg in her face. Because, remember, she claimed that the subway was not safe because of people like Penny. She came out saying that right away. So, John, as a black man, when you're watching this whole thing go down and seeing for yourself how different people are interpreting this, what did you think?
Well, I looked at it as an American first, because I think when if you want to make it about race, what about the sisters that were on the train that Jordan Neely saved? What about the other black man that helped assist him with Jordan Neely? I personally don't think this has anything to do with race. There was a kid on the train who's lost his mind, who's dealing with a lot of mental health issues, and that's what this issue was. I'm one of those people that would intervene. I'm thinking twice about intervening on anything today. He saved. Who's to say he didn't save a lot of lives that day? What if this guy did, what he said he wanted to do, kill people? What if he did? Then they're going to say, well, why didn't nobody jump in? Why didn't anybody intervene?
Because we always ask, why aren't men anymore?
Correct. And I think that's the role. I think that's the goal of where they want to take us as a society, where we have these weak, effeminate men who are unwilling to protect people. And I think that's why I posted on my page, Black and Right page, that Daniel Penny is a national hero, in my opinion, because he is. He's a national hero. Because remember, there was an audio, the black lady who being interviewed by cops was telling the cops what this guy was saying. They were in fear of this guy, Jordan Neely. And now the father's saying that he's going to file a civil suit. Come on.
He already has.
Right.
He's faced civil charges.
Hasn't seen his kid in how long?
I know.
Yeah,
I hate when people
some money
do that.
grab, and that's why they want to make it about race.
But this might be a good time to get rid of the Alvin Braggs. This might be a good time for Elon Musk to step up and do what George Soros has been doing.
Right.
And that's been getting a group of, real candidates who care about law and order, that want to enforce the law, to run.
Yeah.
I mean, Bowden's gone, Gascon, Kim Fox, they're out, but Alvin Bragg should be next.
Yeah.
And if Democrats want to rehab their party in the next 2 years to get America's trust back, they should begin with Alvin Bragg.
Well, and also,
not that I want them to win, but I'm saying if they want to, get back in the good graces of the American people, getting out Alvin Bragg, because this is obviously political against Daniel Penny.
Yeah,
this is political against Trump. We're talking
Right.
about the same DA.
Yeah.
And Daniel Penny is sending a message to liberal city leaders whose policies led to what happened on that subway as a message for them.
These public officials would do something so self-serving.
But how does it serve them to hurt you?
Just political gain. I mean, these are their policies that are, and I don't mean to get political. I don't really want to make any enemies, really.
Yep.
Although I guess I have already.
You think?
But I mean, these are their policies that have clearly not worked, that the people, the general population, are not in support of, yet their egos are too big just to admit that they're wrong.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Would you be willing to do the same thing that Daniel Penny did that day in the subway?
Yeah, but Amy, I think the Alvin Braggs, the Fonnie Willises, the Kim Foxes of the world, they're just a symptom of the problem. I think the core, the root of the problem is the people like George Soros and the people that actually fund these people. Because, I mean, think about it. These are all George Soros sponsored candidates. Right. And the people that give to these type of people, because chaos sells, Amy. And when you look throughout, there's a lot of money in chaos. There's a lot of money in crime. And that's what a lot of people don't realize when you go in, especially into a lot of these urban cities. You got all these different groups, all these different activists who are getting paid off crime. And it pays. So we gotta figure out, you want to look into, Cash Patel, look into what's happening with these type of people, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want Alvin Bragg out, though. And the only way
I want him out.
Kathy Hochul could ask for his resignation or demand that he resign.
Yeah.
But he's up for re-election, and they better have a gosh darn good Republican candidate against him.
Yeah.
So with something else that when I was watching this trial, so the police officers that got on the subway, they did not perform CPR. They did chest compressions, but he still had a pulse. And they said, and they testified, their deputy commander testified, he said, well, we did not want to perform mouth-to-mouth because he was dirty.
I don't blame him.
And they thought they could possibly get hepatitis or AIDS. Now, as a former police officer, John Anthony, is that true? I mean, aren't you trained to help us, to help the citizens that pay your salaries?
No.
Then why the heck would they do that?
Yeah, I'm not a paramedic. What I would do if I showed up to that scene, if I don't have the mouth guard, the plastic that you put over somebody's mouth to do mouth to mouth, I'm not touching nowhere near a person like that mouth as I come up to the scene, because I'm sure you smelled them before you even got there. Chest compressions until the medics arrive. That's all I would do, because I do something. I'm just not doing it. Nope.
Really? And it's not a job requirement?
Nope. When they're an aide.
So it's a situational issue. Like if you get there,
they did chest compressions.
But if he had mouth to mouth, he might have lived.
And then
that's what William Jacobson, that attorney yesterday that was on our programs, mentioned.
And then you take him back you're taking Hep C back to your home, right? You're taking some disease back. No, I'm not. Fire me. I'm gonna do what I can to try to keep him alive through chest compressions, because I do recall at some point, mouth to mouth was not. I remember when I went through the training, they said that mouth to mouth is not needed in order to revive somebody, just chest compressions. I don't know if that's changed or not, but I know when I went through it, when I was in the academy, that's how we were taught.
It sounds like plausible deniability on your part now, John Anthony.
I'm not taking Hep C back home.
Okay, well, I'm surprised that the father isn't going after NYPD.
Yeah,
and just going after Penny. And I don't know what he majored. I don't even know what job he is. He's 26 years old. He's young. He's not seeking any of this attention. He agreed to do one interview, and that was with Judge Janine Pirro. So we'll see.
But Amy, do you know
he's got to go through this all over again with a civil suit?
You notice that when we have these type of incidents, the focus is never put on the act of the criminal. The focus is always put on the people who intervene. Daniel Penny saved lives, dude. If Jordan Neely hadn't got on that train and threatened to kill people, he'd still be alive today. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? If he doesn't get on there and does what he does, Jordan Neely is alive. If his parents had paid him any hill of what, then maybe he would have had the help and gotten the help. But I'm
No,
trying
you're
to
right.
compose myself.
The family ignored him.
Yeah.
For years, and then they smell some money and some fame, and some, hungry attorney grabs them and recruits them to file a lawsuit.
Right.
So Daniel Penny has to go through this all over again. 312-642-5600. Let's go to Lewis, and I believe that's Brenham, Texas. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good morning.
I myself am a Marine veteran, and when we join the Marine Corps, we do it for the love of our country, but we want to help people. We want to help people that can't help themselves. And just because we leave the military doesn't mean that comes out of us, our ambitions and the things that we signed up to fight for. Like a cop. A cop, he's always going to be a cop. And I think this individual, this Marine, did what he was trained to do. He saw something happening, and he took action to prevent people from getting hurt and possibly losing their lives. I think people need to realize that more. Just because nobody lost their life doesn't mean that nobody could have lost their life if this individual continued to go about doing what he did. I don't know why people are making such an issue of it, especially me being a military veteran, especially a Marine, knowing how the Marine Corps trains us. There is no color, there is no race, there is no religion. We are all Marines. We are one family, and I think people need to start taking a deeper look at that and stop making this about race. This person did what he thought was best to help people, to save people, and like you guys have stated, there were other individuals involved, not just him. And I think he did a good thing trying to help people, and unfortunately, it sounds like he's getting kind of railroaded.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And Lewis is right.
Thank you for your service.
Lewis, you're right, because as I'm a former cop, and that training never goes away. I make sure that my police training has never gone away, because I'm still reading stuff about different training options and methods. I still read that stuff. I still make sure I stay abreast of what's changing in the police world, because you just never know. And he's right. That training just never goes away, Amy.
Nope. Steve on the Northwest Side, he has something in common with you, John Anthony. Hi, Steve.
Hi, good morning. I just want to say this. I agree 1,000% with John Anthony. I'll do anything I can do to save that guy's life, but I'm not giving him mouth to mouth. I'm sorry.
Really?
I'm just not doing it. Absolutely not. You know what? I have a family here, and I'm not going to bring that disease home to my wife or my children or whatever. And the other thing I wanted to say is John Anthony's right about the training. And I have a saying, it kind of goes back to the Marine Corps. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And I say once a policeman, always a policeman. Yes. I'm retired now. I carry a gun, not only to protect myself, but other people.
That's it.
If I'm in a restaurant and some dude walks in with a gun or a knife or whatever and starts hurting people, I'm going to do a Daniel Penny. I'm sorry. It's just in my nature, my makeup, my history. But I agree with this John Anthony. I'm not giving him mouth to mouth. I'm sorry. If I had the mouth guard,
you guys will protect us.
I would.
Yeah, mouth guard is different.
If I had the mouth guard, I do it. Yeah. But without the mouth guard, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, I'm just probably like a lot of people that we thought that was part of. Thanks, Stephen, for the call and for your service as well. I just thought that was part of the job responsibility.
No.
Maybe I could get you a mouth guard for Christmas, John.
Yeah, I don't need one. No.
Well, what if something happens?
No.
Oh, fine. Okay, fine.
Nope.
Be that way.
I ain't doing it.
All right.
Hey, well, you remember, I got spat on in Chicago. So.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that dude almost lost his teeth.
Kevin in Boston, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning to you, Amy, and Dan's mouthpiece for the day. God bless him. Wore the bag for us in a different time zone. I just want to point this out to you time again. We know that violent crime is off the scales in New York, where each and every other day, 3 weeks ago, someone went on a knifing campaign. 3 innocent people. First, a construction worker. An hour later, a lone fisherman down on the Hudson, an Asian man throat by the same assailant. Then, within an hour, 75 minutes from that, at the complex of the UN, like with all the surveillance and security there, a woman walking to work by the same assailant was gunned down, and thank God for an Uber driver. But this is my point. Who killed Jordan Neely? What was the time and time again? Here it is with the population of 8+ million people, New York City. This man is on the top 50 watchful list.
Right.
All right. It was Alvin Bragg himself.
Come on.
By letting him out on the streets and not getting him the care that he needed. That's
right,
my
Kevin.
point.
That's a great point.
No, that is a good point. Thanks, Kevin, for your
That's a great point because, I mean, you're arrested 42 times.
42 times.
Didn't he kidnap a 7-year-old or something to that nature? Wasn't that part of his arrest record that he kidnapped a 7-year-old?
It's a very lengthy arrest record.
Yeah.
No, he's crazy. He's schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And they have nothing in place to help people with mental illness. That they know who he was because he was on that list.
Because it's been gutted throughout the country, Amy.
Yep. Anthony on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, John, Anthony, and Amy. How are you?
Good morning.
I just wanted to reflect on, a lot of people nowadays, they're first to pull out their phones and just record everything. Police officers are minimized as is. Prior to all this, in my younger years, I knew that older men, would step up and try to prevent, any further damage. When the police officers got their hands tied and our citizens are just sitting recording stuff, more and more stuff is going to happen. And mental illness is definitely a problem, in America. When they neglect to address issues like that, we won't, if they choose to address it, we have less and less problems out in the street.
Yeah.
Mind you, when you have that, prosecution like Alvin Bragg, where they bring people in and they let them out and they're repeat offenders. It just shocks me that America can't be America by stepping up and protecting our own, black, white, Chinese, you name it. We're a family here. We need to step up and prevent crimes like this or issues like this, because if we just sit back, the same people that are recording are the first ones that say, I didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? But as soon as somebody steps up and tries to prevent this, God bless that, the soul that was lost, but, all of this could have been prevented if we addressed the issues at hand.
Yeah.
Mental illness, let the police officers do their job.
Yep.
They're labeling police officers as the culprits when they're here to serve and protect. And I appreciate you, John Anthony, for your service.
Thank you.
Amy, I love you guys. You guys keep everything on point. You guys keep it real. But we have to come together as America and look out for one another, whether we're police officers or not. We need to nip the crime in the butt, and there ain't no way that they're going to have somebody come out here and talk this guy down.
Yeah.
Like they say they can. Well, we need to get more people in here to talk to these people. Well, where is that person at?
Yeah.
Right,
we need more John
Where
Waynes.
is that person at?
Yeah.
We need more
Thanks so
John
much.
Waynes, Amy.
We need mouth to mouth with
No.
John Anthony. That's going to be the new your new podcast, Mouth to Mouth with John Anthony.
Oh my goodness.
Quickly, let's go to Al in Rosemont. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. Hey,
What up, brother?
What's going on, bro? I was calling. We just had in August 4 people killed on the train station on the train in the Blue Line, while sleeping with some people, some crazy man.
Wow.
We've had all these issues that we've had on the train being harassed. I call this guy in New York. He's a violence interrupter to me.
Yeah.
Because I associate it as that, and we never let. Just to go in a little deep in tail. Even inside the institutions, they would not let a crazy person run that institution. You got about 3 times to start screaming and before you get stabbed. So we don't even allow that in there. So
All right, Al. Thank you so much for the phone call.
Big Al,
Dan
you're
and
so
Amy. Yeah, Dan and Amy with John Anthony, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
This is Sean Thompson here to tell you about our 2024 Food for the Poor campaign. We've partnered with Food for the Poor once again to provide life-saving food for thousands of children and their families in Latin America and the Caribbean. We're talking about a part of the world that continues to suffer from the effects of economic destruction and decline, political corruption, instability, gangs, high prices for food. Families are forced to skip meals for days at a time because they simply can't afford to buy food. The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor and their partners. Food for the Poor needs your help. Right now, thanks to a generous match, for a one-time gift of $100, you can provide life-saving food for 2 children for an entire year. And it helps their community to gain access to water. Or consider a gift of giving $200, which would provide life-saving food for 4 children for the entire year. To make a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673 or go to 560theanswer.com. Just simply click on the Give Life banner at the top of the website.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, I cannot wait to have him back. It has been a hot minute. Dustin Grage from Town Hall, Everything Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz is coming out. We'll explain, but now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
6:32, 28 degrees in Chicago, and wildfires burning in Southern California, destroying homes in Malibu. LA County Fire Department Chief Anthony Maroney says it's the wind that continues to make fighting the fire difficult.
Strong winds and low humidities will continue to challenge firefighters on the line and in the air as they struggle to contain the stubborn fire.
About 20,000 have been evacuated. 2 of President-elect Trump's more embattled nominees are seeking more support from Senators. Pete Hegseth, nominated for Defense Secretary, and Tulsi Gabbard, Trump's pick for Director of National Intelligence, were on Capitol Hill Monday meeting with incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
And the one thing I can tell you coming out of that conference is Republicans united around making sure that President Trump's nominees are put in place and ready to roll up their sleeves and go to work, and that we also are prepared to take care of the people's business in this country.
Nominees need 51 votes to be confirmed. Republicans will control 54 in the new Senate. Senator Bernie Sanders addressing the outpouring of anger against the insurance industry following the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Sanders calling Thompson's murder unacceptable, but he also added, quote, "You cannot have people in the insurance industry rejecting needed health care for people while they make billions in profit," end quote. A New Jersey lawmaker wants to ban all drone use in the state until more is known about the drones that have been flying around New Jersey for the past few weeks. Congressman Josh Gottheimer.
And I think it's very important the public knows and hears from us as leaders that we're aware of what they're seeing or what the reporting they're seeing, and that if they should be concerned, which I'm not.
Republican John Bambrick disagrees, saying he demands a ban over what's been referred to as nefarious activity by large drones. Chicago gearing up for very cold weather over the next couple of days. Forecasters believe temps will drop tonight and tomorrow, wind chills well below zero. In response, the city and suburbs opening up a number of warming centers during the day. A bare majority of Chicago aldermen are moving forward with Mayor Brandon Johnson's latest budget proposal, a $17.3 billion spending plan approved out of the Finance and Budget Committees yesterday. The mayor can ill afford to lose any more votes in a divided city council. A judge will rule later today on potential testimony from former state representative Eddie Acevedo as former Illinois House Speaker Democrat Michael Madigan's corruption trial enters the AT&T phase. Acevedo's attorney claimed the former lawmaker has dementia, and defense attorneys are objecting to Acevedo being called. Judge John Robert Blakey met with Acevedo Tuesday. He'll make a ruling again later today. Chicago sports, the Fighting Illini bouncing back from their first conference loss with a convincing win over number 22 Wisconsin, 86-80. Last night, DePaul beaten by Providence, 70-63 in overtime. The Blue Demons fall to 7-2. Blackhawks continue gearing up for a road game against the Islanders. The news, a service of Balance of Nature, fruits and veggies in a capsule. Order online at balanceofnature.com. Use that coupon code Chicago to save 35% as a preferred customer. Hurry, offer ends soon. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other. when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago on December 23rd on their Lost Christmas Tour 2024. AM 560 is giving away tickets. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/Christmas. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at the All-State Arena. Go to 560theanswer.com/Christmas.
Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here, and we want to tell you about our 2024 Food for the Poor campaign.
If you've listened to the station and to our show for any length of time, then you already know about Food for the Poor. They are a nonprofit, faith-based organization that provides food, water, medicine, clothing, and life-saving supplies directly to local partners in Latin America and the Caribbean.
We all know how bad the situation is right now in Latin America and the Caribbean.
For many families, the cost of food has simply become prohibitive, leading to sickness and starvation.
The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor. But in order to get this food to those who need it most, Food for the Poor needs your help. Your one-time gift of just $50 can provide life-saving food for a child for an entire year and provide their community with access to water.
To give a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673.
Or you can visit 560theanswer.com/food for the poor, or just click on the Give Life banner.
Ho, ho, ho! Time to check the list.
Hey, Santa, you're looking a little rosier than usual.
Yeah, big guy. Is your blood pressure okay?
Gee, I hope so.
You know, you should drink 120 Life.
Totally. 120 Life is a natural way to help control blood pressure without the side effects of medication.
It's a delicious juice drink and powdered mix with natural ingredients like pomegranates and tart cherries.
It tastes great and is shown to work wonders for blood pressure.
Ho, ho! Best put 120 Life on my list.
Try 120 Life yourself, risk-free, with a 2-week trial pack. Order now. Go to 120life.com and use coupon code CHRISTMAS to save 15% and get free shipping. They're so sure it can noticeably lower your blood pressure in 2 weeks, they'll give you your money back if you're not satisfied. Lower blood pressure is the gift that keeps on giving. Order now to get the Christmas special of 15% savings and free shipping. That's 120life.com. Use coupon code CHRISTMAS at checkout.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484.
When you're looking to make your business bulletproof, what comes to mind? Trustworthiness? Accuracy? Truthiness? Well, that's not even a real word. In today's competitive business landscape, considerations like trust, attention to service, accuracy, and knowledge are critical. So is cost, and finding the right balance is important, especially where your business insurance, employee benefits, and executive compensation needs are concerned. For bulletproofing your business, remember DSP Insurance Services. DSP is family-owned and has provided comprehensive risk management solutions and strategic excellence across industries for over 40 years. Business owners continue to partner with DSP because they offer the robust services of a national broker, yet a personal touch that is harder than ever to find these days. Contact DSP Insurance Services for a business and risk audit today. Visit online at dspmybusiness.com. That's dspmybusiness.com. DSP Insurance, your outsourced risk management department since 1981.
.641, let's get an update on the roads. We do that in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center. And this morning, this update is a service of work.illinois.gov. A work-life balance from a state job? Really? The Illinois EPA is hiring. Find really great careers at work.illinois.gov. Eden's right now jammed up. Foster to Montrose, 22 minutes from Lake Cook Road. into the junction. The Ike at 43, 390 to the old post office. Tri-State jamming up northbound. Reagan, that's I-88, into the Eisenhower merge. Vernon Hills, you've got problems at the intersection of Milwaukee and Executive Way. Traffic signals are flashing red this morning. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Windy with clouds and sun. Watch out for the afternoon snow arriving around 2:30 and lasting through the afternoon rush. A high of 30, clearing and frigid overnight, low of 6 above. It's 28 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
So he's back. He's licking his wounds, trying to figure out what went wrong. Governor Tim Walz discussing how he processed and interpreted the election results. Because remember, he learned only in August. That was 100 days. Didn't that seem like the most bizarro 100-day campaign of our lives, John Anthony?
Yes, it did. It was beyond bizarro.
Yeah, well, this is what happened the day that he got the call. Remember, they made that cheesy video like, "Hi, Tim, this is Vice President Harris. You're going to be my VP." And then next thing you know, he's on a private plane and he's off to, I believe, it was Philadelphia.
I think we're going to have to understand what type of leadership do they want.
That's not that.
And then I'm standing at the curtain with the Vice President of the United States with 15 or 20,000 people in the national press out there. And she turns to me and she says, "Well, let's not screw this up." And we went out there, and so.
The next Vice President of the United States, Tim Walz.
So you ended up being the nominee. Do you think ultimately you helped or hurt?
History will write that. It wasn't my decision to make. That was the Vice President's decision. Did they make the right, as I said, in this campaign, when you asked the question, are there things you could have been done differently? Since we lost, the answer is obviously yes. On this one, I did the best I could.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. I knew the first time she ever had to make a decision, John, was her vice presidential pick.
Yeah.
And when she picked Tim Walz, I got on my knees and I said, "Thank you, Jesus." Because they had the unveiling or the coming out party for Tim Walz in the key state of Pennsylvania, where she could have picked Governor Shapiro. But she didn't, because that's the kind of decision-making she, has. It's poor decision-making.
I was afraid of that pick, though.
I know. A lot of us were, because it was some scary times there. So he felt he's on the loss. He said Americans want a less inclusive and more negative vision. He said, so he's trying to figure out America.
It felt like at the rallies, at the things I was going to, the shops I was going in, that the momentum was going our way. And it obviously wasn't at the end of time. So yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought we had a positive message, and I thought the country was ready for that.
While he's standing in front of sitting in front of the American flag and the new Minnesota state flag. Did you see it?
I did not.
Oh,
let me look it up.
Oh, why don't you Google that?
Yeah,
because it looks an awful lot like the Somalian flag. They have a very large Somalian population there, and yeah. Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now look up Google the Somalian state or the country flag, and you'll see very similar things. Is he going to run? Are we going to see him again?
It is.
Do you see? Isn't it look
Same
exactly
color.
like same color, and then the star there? You see the star?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So is he going to run again, like in 2026? Is he going to run with VP Harris, who might run again? Because that's, she's either going to be the governor of California, or she's going to be maybe the presidential candidate again. They might take her out for another spin. Believe it or not. But his political futures?
What I've always said is that has more to do with where the people are at. If there's a desire that it might make sense if they'd like to see us run again, we'd talk to folks. But at this time, I'm just trying to get through the session.
So he has a legislative session, and it's split Republican and Democrat.
Yeah.
The state legislature there. So that's hopeful. And 1.3 million Minnesotans voted for President Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a big blank in the face, because when it started, when the race, before she put him on the ticket, she was polling at 10 points ahead of Trump. Well, because, I mean, obviously it's a Democratic state. But when she put him on the ticket, then she was only ahead by 4 points.
I mean, this is the guy that used the National Guard to put people in their homes. Come on. I mean, you know.
This is the guy who let the 3rd district burn to the ground.
When you played that first clip of Kamala, all I heard was, "We did it, Joe." That's all I heard. I can't. She is not a serious contender for 2028. I just don't see it. When you got Gavin, when you got Shapiro, when you have Wes Moore, when you have these guys, the people who did not want to be her vice president, and I think that's what really happened with Shapiro and the likes of these people. They didn't want to put their name on what they already saw as a losing cause. They wanted it fresh. They wanted to be out there. They didn't want to be tainted by the Biden administration nor Kamala, and that's why I believe they didn't run.
So do you think, I mean, she's going to do something. She's not retiring.
Governor, I can see governor. I could see her running for governor of California, and I can see Californians voting for her.
When are those people going to wake up?
Yeah. I mean,
what is it going to take for them to realize that they have, I mean, they're in a sanctuary city, and even a sanctuary state, I should say. And even last night in San Diego, did you hear about this? Their city council voted for not just a sanctuary city, they're a super sanctuary city. You can't make this up.
I think this policy goes beyond California's existing sanctuary laws by adding an additional layer of bureaucracy that hinders local law enforcement from directly notifying ICE about illegal immigrants who are currently in our jails, and they have committed heinous crimes, including child abuse or endangerment, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, but only if this conviction is for a felony, possession of an unlawful deadly weapon, gang-related offenses, a crime resulting in death or involving personal affliction or great bodily injury, possession or use of a firearm in the commission of an offense, torture, rape, and kidnapping. That's the population we're talking about. So under this policy, and if a legal immigrant commits one of these serious crimes, San Diego County would be legally prohibited from directly coordinating with ICE. This effectively protects the offenders from deportation, allowing them to remain in our communities where they could cause that same harm again. And this isn't just theoretical. We have seen the devastating consequences of such policies across the nation. Barbie Larson was brutally murdered in her own home by an illegal alien gang member with a history of drug possession and burglary. He was released because of sanctuary laws. Kate Steinle was senselessly shot and killed on a San Francisco pier by an illegal immigrant with a long history of violent crime. Just months ago, I sat next to Patty Morin, a mother whose life was shattered when her daughter was raped, murdered by an illegal immigrant. Her heartbreaking testimony is something I'll never forget. A reminder that these tragedies are not statistics. They are human lives forever altered. And these tragedies are preventable, but sanctuary laws allow them to happen by allowing illegal criminals back into our communities instead of into the hands of ICE. San Diego County is already spending $5 million annually of taxpayer money to provide legal counsel for illegal immigrants facing deportation, no matter what the reason is that they're being deported. This proposed legislation, to me, seeks to prioritize the interest of illegal criminal immigrants over the safety of law-abiding immigrants.
And he is the one supervisor to vote against this. So again, it was 3-1 to turn the county into quote unquote super sanctuary county by shielding illegals from deportation and preventing police from notifying ICE about dangerous illegals in custody.
Well, Amy, personally, I think sanctuary status is unconstitutional. And I so wanted to go hear Tom Homan. You know, he was here the other day at Gibson's, and then he was at another event. And he was supposed to be at a private home event, but I don't. That fell through. I so wish I would have gotten to hear him speak. And from what I'm told, he said, first of all, he started off with J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson sucks. That was like his opening line. And this is why the Cash Patels and the people, Cash being at the FBI and Pam Bondi at DOJ and Tom Homan at the border, they are going to be so crucial as it relates to places like San Diego, because I want to see them now, especially the criminal element. Now, let me say that the criminal element, the mental health patients that have been allowed into our country, go and remove every single one of them day one. That's what I want to see. Day one, I want to see this operation get started day one. Because you want to know why Chicago just raised all these taxes on their citizens? Because they've had to fund this issue for the last how many years now, Amy?
Oh, I know. The 3
years?
Yeah,
this is why.
They want to raise our property taxes to pay for illegals.
Yeah.
And I think people have had enough. And the super sanctuary city and counties, did they not know what happened the last election?
Yeah.
Are they that tone deaf?
Yeah.
That they can't just be a sanctuary city. Now they have to be a super sanctuary city. Well, the sheriff there, just so you know, the county sheriff, we've been told, Jim Desmond, said he's not going to be following this resolution. Good for him. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Bob in Buffalo Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Amy. Always good talking to you and hosting with John.
Thank you, brother.
With regards to the election and the issues, aren't the Democrats looking at what the top issues are? They think it's Trump, orange man bad, and he's the new Hitler, but not looking at the economy, immigration. I don't get it. They should look at what's concern to the voter, and they just didn't do it this time.
Well, they're still not doing it, apparently. If you have just last night, San Diego County voting, thanks, Bob, to be a super sanctuary city. They're trying to outdo everything, like supersize fries.
Yeah.
Supersize your meal. They're trying to supersize it. But again,
I also think, I'm sorry,
the sheriff's not. Oh, no, I'm just glad the sheriff is not going to be enforcing this.
I also think Kamala didn't run to secure her base because, when she was running, she was mimicking almost everything that President Donald Trump said he was going to do, she wanted to do. And I think that's one of the reasons. The base just wasn't excited about this ticket, even though this was the most progressive ticket to ever run.
Ever.
And the progressives came out to vote. But those Democrats, like my Democrat friends who went to hear Tom Homan speak, they said they're sick and tired. And these are some very lefty friends of mine that went to hear Tom Homan speak. And for them to show up to hear Tom Homan speak because they are frustrated with what they see happening in the city of Chicago and Cook County, that speaks volumes. These are people that would never, and they voted for Trump. They would have never. They despised Trump. They held their nose and went in and voted for Donald Trump this election.
Wow. Can I ask, were they black?
No, they're not.
No,
they're not.
How many?
But
of your
they are
black
minority.
friends
They are minority.
switched? And any family members switch?
Oh,
over?
yes. My two cousins who live in Tennessee despise Trump. They were in a ad for Donald Trump. I'm not with her. I got to meet. I was in it with him and two of my cousins.
That.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, we were in the ad for Donald Trump. I'm not with her. And these two guys, they despise Donald Trump, hated him. Didn't want to have anything to do with me because I was so supportive of Donald Trump. And now that this is all they talk about now, Donald Trump. And now speaking of, I got to get them both T-shirts from the Trump campaign.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they were.
And also, too, one other thing before we go to break. Kamala Harris. So it used to be the Harris Walz emails I would get on a daily, probably hourly basis because I always sign up to see what the opposition's doing. I have in my hand here another email, and the woman can't stop asking for money.
She broke.
Now it's called the Harris Fight Fund. So they changed her from Harris Walz to the Harris Fight Fund. And, one question, Amy, will you share your support of Joe Biden and for his last few days in office? To support us, press, $10, donate here, $20, donate here, press this button. Has she no shame? She was a derelict of duty with the. I mean, she had $1.5 billion, and she came out $20 million in the hole.
You said has she no shame from a leftist? They have no shame. They will, Amy. They don't care. They will do whatever it takes because she's 20 million in the hole. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
She's 20 million in the hole. So guess what? She's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that campaign. And I'm sure some rich benefactor will take care of that.
I don't know. Why doesn't Oprah come forward and say, like, hey, girlfriend, since we're sister souls here, take back the $2.5 million?
Well, that's a whole great point. What about there were tens of
3 million from what, Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, tens of millions to these artists, right?
I thought they were doing it because of love of country and love of party.
Really? No.
I'm so stupid, and I also thought Chicago or all police officers did mouth to mouth.
Oh God.
I've learned a lot this morning. Dan and Amy with John Anthony, Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is a full-blown 4-alarm holiday emergency here.
On AM 560.
We're going to have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny Kaye.
The Answer.
This is Sean Thompson here to tell you about our 2024 Food for the Poor campaign. We've partnered with Food for the Poor once again to provide life-saving food for thousands of children and their families in Latin America and the Caribbean. We're talking about a part of the world that continues to suffer from the effects of economic destruction and decline, political corruption, instability, gangs, high prices for food. Families are forced to skip meals for days at a time because they simply can't afford to buy food. The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor and their partners. Food for the Poor needs your help. Right now, thanks to a generous match, for a one-time gift of $100, you can provide life-saving food for 2 children for an entire year. And it helps their community to gain access to water, or consider a gift of giving $200, which would provide life-saving food for 4 children for the entire year. To make a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673 or go to 560theanswer.com. Just simply click on the Give Life banner at the top of the website.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, guess what? A murderer is no folk hero.
Oh.
We'll explain. And former police superintendent Gary McCarthy joins us to talk about what a good day in New York it was the other day. We'll explain. But now let's head into that newsroom. For news here at home and around the world, the one and only Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
City of Chicago, the suburbs opening up warming centers ahead of a frigid night. Aldermen advance Mayor Johnson's budget plan, but not without debate. An Illinois man is charged with assaulting U.S. Representative Nancy Mace. Remains found in Evanston are believed to be a missing Skokie woman, and Gia Biaggi is named the next Illinois Secretary of the Department of Transportation. Barbie Gold is named a new head coach. We'll tell you where. And the Illini take down Wisconsin.
There's still unidentified flying objects. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Big drones flying over New Jersey since mid-November. The FBI told a House hearing they don't know who's flying them or what they are. Mayors get a briefing from state police today.
If they are American assets, if they're American military, if they're American drones, and I think we owe the American people answers or explanations.
New Jersey State Senator Douglas Steinhardt on Fox also reacting to Governor Phil Murphy, saying there's no threat to public safety.
Dismissing this drone activity and its daily drone activity as nothing or no threat to me without some explanation, detailed explanation as to how they arrived at that conclusion is it's irresponsible and dangerous.
Luigi Mangione remains jailed in Pennsylvania, the suspected gunman in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. And Mangione's fighting extradition to New York to face a murder charge. Writings police found are part of the case.
All about the insurance industry, saying it's a scam, that they won't cover anything, including, I guess, his back surgery, according to reports, because they say he was in very bad pain. So that was the manifesto.
That's Fox's Alexis McAdams. An out-of-control wildfire in Malibu, California has torched 3,000 acres and burned some homes down. Ed Laskos with Fox 11 TV reports there are
homeowners standing ready with their hoses, standing dangerously close to the fire itself. Others, just some of the many, ordered to evacuate to get out now.
Cher and Barbara Streisand and Dick Van Dyke are among those who've evacuated in Malibu. President Biden on his way out of office says President-elect Trump will inherit a fairly strong economy. He also warns against Trump's tariff threats on all products from Canada and Mexico.
On the mistaken belief that foreign countries will bear the cost of those tariffs rather than the American consumer.
Meanwhile, a new poll shows most Americans disapprove of the president pardoning his son, Hunter Biden. Only 2 in 10 in the AP NORC survey approve of the deal sparing Hunter Biden from punishment for a gun conviction and tax evasion. America's listening to Fox News.
28 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're following on WIND Chicago. Wall Street Journal reporting that Deerfield-based Walgreens is in talks to sell itself to a private equity firm, Sycamore Partners. The deal would cap a tumultuous run for the suburban retailer, whose market value has shrunk from a peak of over $100 billion to below $8 billion. And market insiders say Walgreens will likely be taken private. Chicago gearing up for very cold weather over the next couple of days. Forecasters believe temps will drop tonight and tomorrow, wind chills dropping to below zero. Bare majority of Chicago aldermen are moving forward with Mayor Brandon Johnson's latest budget proposal, the $17.3 billion spending plan, again, just narrowly coming out of finance and budget committees yesterday with a heavy push from Johnson ally Alderman Walter Burnett.
We have to get this thing done so that we don't close the city down. And if we do close the city down, we lose money.
The proposal includes a $68 million property tax hike, as well as other tax and fee increases. Alderman Scott McKay says the way the measure was passed out of committee was unethical.
What we saw today, too, was just really poor governing practices in terms of finance by merging the levy together with the fines and fees. In my time, this has never been done, and I think it's really unethical to go about it this way.
The mayor and council are facing an end-of-year deadline, and the mayor can ill afford to lose any more votes in a divided city council. A judge is expected to rule today on potential testimony from former state representative Eddie Acevedo. His former Illinois House Speaker, Democrat Michael Madigan's corruption trial and enters the AT&T phase. Acevedo's attorney claimed the former lawmaker has dementia, and her defense attorney objected to Acevedo being called. Fighting Illini bounced back from their first Big Ten Conference loss of the season with a convincing 86-80 win over number 22 Wisconsin last night. The 7-2 Illini host number 1 Tennessee on Saturday. Also last night on the hardwood, DePaul beaten by Providence 70-63 in overtime. The Blue Demons fall to 7-2. The news service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Check if you qualify, AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On Monday, January 20th, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. AM 560, The Answer, is throwing a party. Join us for our inauguration celebration on January 20th at Saddle Up Q in Aurora. Enjoy a brunch buffet with AM 560 listeners as we watch the inauguration of President Trump. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/Trump47. That's 560theanswer.com/Trump47.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you. You've watched the news. Rising crime has been affecting our everyday lives in Illinois more and more these days. Blue Star Security can protect you, your business, or your place of worship. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 900 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Jeffrey Salvetti, Vice President of Blue Star Security and a 15-year law enforcement veteran. The Blue Star team is made up of over 900 state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals. We serve businesses and private organizations with supply chain and special event security, and also protect our loved ones at places of worship and schools all across the Chicagoland area. Blue Star Security's technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. That's BlueStarSecurityLLC.com.
I love giving jewelry as a gift. Roland's Jewelers is the perfect place for that magical holiday gift. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. Roland's Jewelers is the absolute perfect place for the magical holiday gift for someone you love. Buying jewelry is about trust. Roland's is the jeweler I trust. I'm a customer, and I'm always amazed by their 5-star Google reviews, so many of them, but why not? They're the best. They're family-owned. Hey, getting engaged? Roland's has a large selection of mined and lab-grown diamonds at great prices. Choose from beautifully crafted engagement rings from designer Simon G. or Italian designer Roberto Coin, offering stunning diamond pendants and earrings. How about a Tag Heuer watch with cutting-edge technology? I love mine from Roland's. I continue to be impressed at how expertly trained their staff is. Visit Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville or RolandsJewelers.com. That's Roland's, ROLLANDS, Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust, just like I do.
7:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is the service of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle for over 52 years. Woodland has been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, featuring styles ranging from modern to traditional. Visit woodlandwindows.com to get started today. Kennedy inbound 1 hour. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Kennedy outbound accident on the left shoulder at Armitage. Delays on the tri-state jamming up northbound right at the Reagan I-88. Westbound 8094 jamming up at the Indiana Toll Road all the way to Clay. Overnight construction work is running late. Wadsworth an accident. Green Bay Road and Rosecrans. And in Long Grove, Route 53, just south of Route 83, report of an accident there. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast with Steve Williams.
Windy, chilly day, times of clouds and sun, a snow shower this afternoon. Our high today at 30. For tonight, breezy this evening, clearing and frigid, low tonight down to 6. For tomorrow, brisk, very cold day, sun and clouds, a high tomorrow at 19. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
28 in clouds at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Wednesday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft. Thanks, buddy, for filling in.
Thanks for having me.
I'm learning a lot from you and other police officers today. They don't do mouth-to-mouth, folks, if they think you're dirty or might have disease.
I mean, mouth sores.
Okay, all right. Well, it has been a crazy 48-hour cycle. It was a really good day 2 days ago. Daniel Penny found not guilty of, manslaughter, or the lesser charge that they went down to so that they can try and get him. Didn't work. And then Luigi Mangione. Of course, I'm the name assassinator. Let me try that again. Luigi Mangione. He was arrested for the brutal murder of Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, who was walking into a meeting, clearly targeted. But yesterday, he snapped back. I don't know if you saw this. He was screaming at the media while he was entering the courthouse.
And completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
And he threw his body against the wall. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw the video. I couldn't make out what he was saying.
Well, he was saying this is extremely unjust, and then he was claiming that they planted evidence on him.
Oh.
So it was such a bizarre, because they found the backpack, and inside the backpack was Monopoly money. It was like this cat and mouse game he was playing with police for 5 days. But when they finally caught up with him, and it was a McDonald's employee who noticed him, and that employee better get the $60,000 that was being offered, $50,000 reward from FBI, $10,000 from NYPD. And she saw him, he was eating breakfast. And according to Fox News, when they took him into the Altoona, Pennsylvania Police Department and New York detectives were sitting there, he was shocked and he started shaking. So the thing is that this kid is brilliant. I mean, he was first in his class, valedictorian at an all-boys private school. He grew up in Maryland, $40,000 a year. He went to University of Pennsylvania. He was a Phi Psi. He was in a fraternity there. And he's good looking. He's a big social sensation. I mean, the way that
the whole family is good looking.
But people are falling all over him. Yeah. Even anchors who are asking, hey, can you get rid of the Chiron so I could see him, so they could see his 14-pack abs? No, I'm not. This is CNN, okay?
God.
This is quote-unquote journalism.
Biggest problem right now is I want to believe that he didn't mean to just fizzle out in the middle of the McDonald's.
Menendez brothers, move over! Luigi is about to take the girls by storm.
Look at the photos they used when this man got picked up. Not the 14-pack. He's GTL.
What?
The man accused of killing United Healthcare's CEO going viral. Images of Luigi Mangione seem to captivate the attention of online masses. The Manhattan killing also uncovering a deep dissatisfaction with the United States healthcare industry. The incident sparking outrage online over health insurance policies.
Very basic. There's also just the reaction online is also just such a reinforcement of how much aesthetics, attractiveness, I mean, like the shallowness of the American people, the American people who are online, we'll say, is very much on display here. Part of, yes, there's absolutely a bubbling anger about the inequity in the country writ large and in the healthcare system, no question. But so much of the clips we were watching at the top of this segment are driven by the fact that this is an attractive.
And we got to drop the banner to show why.
And it is deeply troubling that we are celebrating this person who's committed cold-blooded murder because he clearly went to the gym.
One take.
Celebrate him because he clearly went to the gym.
He's allegedly killed someone, right? And they're questioning
Well, a murderer is not a folk hero because it takes away from the real conversation about healthcare. Because he did have he had a back accident, I think, from surfing and had chronic pain, and his friend did share that he had 3, nails in his back, and we don't know. And there was a 3.5-page manifesto that police, when they caught him, he had that in his possession as well, railing against corporate America. So, and his mom reported him missing, guys, back in November 18th.
Oh.
And then his friend said they hadn't heard from him in 3 months.
Planning.
So he was off the grid.
Sounds like planning.
Yeah, so with more on this and with Daniel Penny's not guilty verdict, let's welcome back to the program our very good friend, Gary McCarthy, Chief of Police in Willow Springs, former Superintendent of CPD, mayoral candidate, don't forget that, former NYPD officer and Deputy Commissioner, and Police Chief of Newark, New Jersey. Was there anything I left out, Mr. McCarthy?
That's just about it. And the father of an 8-year-old right now.
Yes, and an all-around good guy. So there you go.
Okay. All right, so I guess we're good. We're good. I can go now, right?
You're a New Yorker. You're from what borough did you grow up in? The Bronx?
The Bronx. Yeah.
Okay.
The Bronx, New York.
Were you obsessed with this Brian Thompson murder as I was? Because I followed every part of this.
I still am. It's funny. You said the kid was brilliant, and that doesn't make him smart. Let's get those two issues separated. At the end of the day, people ask me all the time if I miss New York. And I generally say, no, I miss my friends, but, my friends come through here all the time. Watching these two events in New York City, I realized how much I actually do miss it, because those are high-profile big cases that being involved in, there's enormous pressure, but at the same time, there's enormous satisfaction when you get them, bring them to completion, which obviously this case with the CEO is not brought to completion. There's a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot, and I'm just really impressed at how well they handled it.
Well, it seemed like a cat and mouse game, though. I mean, it was 5 days, which seems so long considering we had such a great picture of his face from the surveillance cameras and from the hostel where he stayed, where he was flirting with a girl, so he put his mask down. And that was probably the best picture we had of him.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting, and nobody talks about this, is nobody has heard from the Detective Bureau in New York City how they got this guy in the hostel, how they got him in the Starbucks, and any other things that they were keeping under wraps. I said recently, I was amazed at how much information they were giving out, but that also indicates that there was information that they were not giving out, because that's really good detective work. How do you connect this guy to the hostel? Yeah. And how do you know he's the shooter? You still have to prove he's the shooter, let alone this guy who went to Starbucks and stayed at the hostel. So, you know, those cases, heater cases like that, you know, I've had a number of them in my career, and it's just very satisfying when you bring them to fruition. Yeah. And the other thing is, I'm astounded at where this country is and how, I don't know how we got here. This is not the country that my dad joined the Marine Corps in World War II for. Yeah. He came back and was a New York City cop. You know, I heard somebody say that this person was a conservative Democrat, and I said, isn't that an oxymoron at this point?
Did they really? Well, he has a cousin who's in the state legislature, delegate in Baltimore or Maryland, excuse me.
Yeah,
I'm
talking about anybody. That conservative Democrat doesn't exist anymore.
Right, exactly.
You know, and I'm a Democrat, by the way. I still am, even though that party has abandoned me. Certainly my values, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well,
so,
did you vote for Trump, or should I not ask that question? I didn't ask that question. Let's
you
move
know,
on.
when I ran for mayor and people were asking me the same question, I said, my wife doesn't even know who I voted for.
And that's
still
my
stands?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely it does. That's one of those things, you know, I brought up my dad already. He got shot 3 times during the war. He got blown up. He had shrapnel coming out of his back in 1983. And those are the rights that he fought for, in my mind. Yep. So I hold them very valuable. Let's put it that way.
Good for you.
Yeah. Chief? Yes. See what I did there? Superintendent and Chief?
Yeah.
Chief?
Well, don't forget Director.
Director, that's right.
You know, a lot of titles.
You know, I look at this, and when every time I hear Hostel, I just think about the movie Hostel. You know, you guys in New York and New Jersey call hotels hostels. We don't do that here in Chicago. You know that. But as it relates to Daniel Penny, you know, I'm sure you've seen everything that's transpired. Daniel Penny, American hero or murderer?
I think he's an American hero.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tragic thing that occurred, but let's compare the backgrounds and look at the circumstances that brought that situation to occur. The victim in this case, I believe he was arrested 47 times.
Yeah.
I believe that he was considered a danger to himself and other people, like diagnosed as that. And at the same time, look at Daniel Penny, who United States Marine, but at the same time, people were panicking. You've seen the videos of people who were on that train. Yeah. And by the way, I like to say they were black, white, orange, and green.
Yeah.
and they were sticking up for his actions.
Yeah.
You know, and I've heard people say this, and I agree with it. If you've ridden the Red Line, you probably understand what it's like to be on a New York City subway.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've been on a New York City subway.
Yeah, and it can be dangerous.
Yeah.
It can be very, very dangerous. So, you know, and the problem is, John, the first thing that people fall back on is race.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be the first thing, but that's what it is. And the other thing was, I'm watching the protesters when the verdict came out, and I see them holding up signs saying NYPD equals KKK. It's like, well, what did the NYPD do here? And why are we doing that? and talking about vigilantism.
Yeah.
This isn't okay. And this other guy, Luigi, is being celebrated online by people.
Because
Which, by the way, I got a bill. I got a bill from Northwestern the day that incident occurred, and I said to myself, I've got more insurance than anybody I know, and now I got to go back and talk to the insurance companies and straighten this whole thing out, which I spent an hour and a half doing yesterday.
Yeah.
No, I'm not happy with it, but guess what? I'm not going to shoot somebody over
Exactly. You know, and I'm sure you saw the BLM leader, what's his name, Hank Newsom. I believe that's
and his
name.
sister.
You know, I mean, when he basically calling out for people to attack white people, I mean, isn't that? I mean, I used to remember when those type of threats were considered a crime, or at least you got a visit paid to you. Now, what happens if someone goes out and starts attacking, you know, white people, because especially people that look like Daniel Penny? What happens if that starts occurring in the state, in New York City, Manhattan, the Bronx, you know, Brooklyn? What happens when, you know, what are the police? What should they do? What should they prepare for? Because, I mean, this guy basically put a target on anybody that's white in the state of New York and across America, for that matter.
Yeah, well, you know, I could tell you in Alvin Bragg's world, nothing would happen.
Yeah.
I mean, the Soros-backed prosecutors across the country have been complicit in destroying the criminal justice system in this country.
Yeah.
And, you know, there has to be consequences. And I understand disparities. You know, I used to love when I would go to community meetings on the south and the west sides of Chicago. And I'd get up and I'd start talking, and I'd go right to race, because everybody's afraid to talk about it.
Yep.
And I would talk about the history, and I would talk about redlining and segregation. And you know, black audiences, they talk back to you. So as I'm doing that, people are going, that's right, you say it, tell us, right? And I'm going through this whole thing, and I talk about segregation, slavery, redlining, you name it. And then I say, this is bad. And they're like, that's right, it's bad. And then I say, well, why do we insist on it? And I could hear the audible, like, huh? And I say, you're insisting on black commanders and black officers and black neighborhoods. Right. We have to have exposure to get over this. We have to understand how we got to this place. And at the end of those meetings, they would say to me, without exception, nobody who looks like you has ever spoken to us like this. You are so right, we got to work on it. And I did two things when I was in Chicago that had never been done before. I put a white guy in the Englewood district. He was the first white guy since 1964. And I put the first black guy north of Division Street. And guess what?
What?
They both excelled. As a matter of fact, the funniest thing was the alderman for the district where I put Jimmy Jones, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, up in the 20th district. He called me like on Friday, and he says, hey, boss, my guy retired. You know, I need somebody up here. And I'm like, listen, I got the best guy in the world. He's going to be up there Monday. He's like, oh, that's great. I can't wait to meet him. And when I hung up the phone, I said, guess who's coming to dinner?
That wasn't Leo Schmitz, was it? Yeah, that's not who you put up there, was it?
No. Leo's the guy I put in the Englewood.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what Leo, I remember.
Yeah. And I remember there were protests when I put him there, and there were protests when I took him out.
Yeah.
How do you think, as a former superintendent, how do you think Superintendent Snelling is doing so far?
Well, I think he excelled during the DNC. And, you know, it kind of, I'm not taking credit for this, but it really reminded me of exactly what we did during the NATO summit back in 2012. Other than that, yeah, I'm kind of disturbed by the fact that he and the mayor seem to be on two opposite ends of the spectrum. You know, one of the things that I learned, not that it matters because politics got in the way, is there should be no there should be no distance between the mayor and the superintendent.
Yep.
The mayor shouldn't be talking about one thing and the superintendent talking about another. They have to be on the same page if they're going to accomplish the goals. And they're obviously not. So, and I think Larry's doing a pretty good job. Don't get me wrong. But by the same token, I can't get over the fact that Brandon Johnson just can't seem to get out of his way.
Gosh. Hey, Chief.
I've never heard of the 50-0 vote on anything. That's an accomplishment.
That's true. Chief, now we both know that there's a looming war getting ready to incite in the city of Chicago, Cook County, as it relates to Tom Homan and ICE coming into the city. As you know, it's a sanctuary city, and this is a sanctuary state. Let's take it back when you were superintendent. Would you abide by the stand down order from the mayor as it relates to working with ICE? We're seeing what's happening with especially a lot of these Venezuelans who are committing a ton of crimes throughout the city of Chicago. Would you abide by that stand down order, or will you have a conversation with the mayor and say, you looking at this budget deficit? This is the way to help fix it. What would a Superintendent McCarthy do in this situation?
I would definitely have the conversation with the mayor. Definitely. I mean, one of the things that was interesting, working with Rahm Emanuel, and by the way, I worked 2 years for Rudy Giuliani, 5 years for Mayor Bloomberg, 5 years for Cory Booker, and 5 years for Rahm Emanuel.
Wow.
So I've been around the block as far as mayors go. But Rahm and I would have conversations behind closed doors where those things would be hashed out. And that's what I'm saying. There would be no daylight between me and the mayor. We would come out exactly on the same page, certainly in public. Now, 99.9% of the decisions that were made in the Chicago Police Department when I was the superintendent were mine.
Nice.
And it was my first tenet to take the job. I said, Mayor, if I'm going to take this job, I have to really run the department. I will keep your politics in forefront of my mind, but I have to run the department. Which, by the way, when I put Schmitz in Englewood and Jimmy Jones up in the 20th district, I got a call from City Hall.
Chicago because I want to send the mayor a message.
Sorry, hold on.
I didn't do that.
Sorry about that. We had a little technical problem, but go on. What were you going to say?
Just when I did that with Leo Schmitz and Jimmy Jones, I naturally got a phone call from the mayor's chief of staff immediately saying, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" "Well, what about the community?" "Well, what about them?" "Well, Leo's white." I was like, "Get the hell out of here. Leo's white?" Damn. So, those decisions I made, and, not every one of them was perfect, but by the same token, you got to sometimes break the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Right. So would you take the order from the mayor?
This is the way it is.
If the mayor said, no, we're not cooperating with ICE, then you would not cooperate with ICE?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Now, that would really stick in my craw. Let's put it that way. Because getting criminal aliens
yes,
off the street is a no-brainer.
Yep.
I spent so much time on Y2K. January 1st, 2000, I became Deputy Commissioner Operations for the NYPD. And I ran New York's crime strategy for 7 years. But for 5 years before that, I was a precinct commander doing the same exact thing on a smaller scale. So I've been involved in this game from day one. And the easiest way to reduce crime is to arrest people who are wanted now before they commit that next crime.
Yeah. Right.
So what are we doing here? And like you said, John, the amount of money that's going into the whole issue of the migrants, and I'm saying the entirety of it, whether it's prosecutions, whether it's social justice, housing, healthcare, education, so on and so forth. I keep hearing from the black community that they're up in arms. Where are all these resources in our neighborhoods?
Yep.
Why are we doing that for people who aren't citizens of this country? I understand that we should be welcoming, but by the same token, that doesn't mean open borders.
Yep.
And just to remind, I know you guys know this, I lost a daughter to fentanyl in 2022.
I do.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I think about you and your family all the time. And I went to 2 fentanyl funerals. I'm like, what is going on here? My, Sammy, a good family friend. People don't understand it unless it happens to them until you actually see it. And if you're around young kids, you warn them, hey, be careful of who you're hanging out with and what they're putting in lacing. What you might think is an aspirin or marijuana. In one case, there was a fentanyl laced on marijuana, and the person died.
Yeah, well, these numbers tell the story. In 2022, the year that my daughter died, there were 110,000 opioid overdoses in this country. 110,000. Do you guys know how many people we lost in the Vietnam War over 10 years?
What's that?
58,000.
Sheesh.
So over a 10-year period, we lost basically half as many people in a war as we did to opioid deaths in 2022.
Well, do you feel confident that President Trump is going to close the border and stop, or try and stop fentanyl from coming over?
I do. I do. And interestingly enough, I actually had to work with the guy in New York City at sometimes. And, his personality is what it is. You can see it. What you see is what you get. Right. But the policies that he's bringing in, I have no problem with 9 times out of 10, quite frankly. I like the idea of staying out of Syria. I like the idea of closing the border and, at least trying to get criminal aliens out of here, people who have committed rapes and murders and so on and so forth. And you see these cases all the time. And I actually said this last week on the radio. I said, Lake and Riley, we all know the story about the Venezuelan guy who killed her in Georgia. Well, that open border, different circumstance, same result. Somebody killed my daughter.
Yeah. So true.
All right, Chief, we're going to have to leave it there for today. Thank you so much. We'll have you on again.
Sorry to leave you guys on such an up note.
No. This is life,
and
we're living it, and you are too. So, Gary McCarthy, Chief of Police for Willow Springs, thank you so much. Have a wonderful holiday season. He joined us on our Turnkey.Pro answer line. Now let's get straight into that newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
7:34 on AM 560, The Answer. The man suspected of gunning down Brian Thompson in Manhattan remains in custody, but the NYPD has serious concerns about similar crimes. NYPD glad the public helped locate Luigi Mangione. Mangione himself appeared in a Pennsylvania courtroom Tuesday where he challenged extradition.
We're contesting extradition. We're going to fight this along the rules and with the constitutional protections that my client has.
Detectives say they're now aggressively monitoring social media activity regarding the death of Brian Thompson. Firefighters dealing with a wildfire in Southern California that's destroyed homes and sent about 20,000 out of their residences. L.A. County Fire Chief Anthony Maroney.
The fire has burned approximately 2,862 acres and is 0% contained. Over 1,500 firefighters are currently assigned to this incident.
The Franklin fire broke out in Malibu on Monday night. Taiwanese authorities report multiple Chinese ships along its shores. All this while the U.S. delivers military aid in case the island nation needs to defend itself against invasion. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin is in Japan at this time and this morning is promising to keep a close eye on the situation.
We'll continue to do what we can to help Taiwan acquire the means to defend itself. Again, that work continues on, but this latest activity we'll continue to monitor.
It happens after Taiwan's president visited Hawaii and Guam. General Motors is giving up on its Cruise driverless taxi service. The automaker announcing Tuesday after spending $10 billion on the program, the amount of time and money required to expand the robot taxi market is just too much. Chicago gearing up for a very cold day over the next couple. Forecasters believe temps will drop tonight and tomorrow with wind chills dropping to below zero. Warming centers are opening up in the city and the suburbs. Bear a majority of Chicago aldermen moving forward with Mayor Brandon Johnson's latest budget proposal. The $17.3 billion spending plan was approved out of Budget and Finance committees yesterday, but just barely. The proposal includes a $68 million property tax hike. The City Council is expected to vote on the full budget later this week, but not without another showdown with Alderman Bill Conway.
We can't balance this budget just by asking working families and taxpayers to pay more while we in the city are not doing anything to make city government more efficient.
The mayor can ill afford to lose any more votes in a divided city council. An Oregon federal court granting a preliminary injunction challenging the merger, $25 billion worth, between Albertsons and Kroger. That impacts local chains like Jewel-Osco and Mariano's. And the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office is working to identify remains believed to be a missing Skokie woman. The Evanston Police Department found a body November 30th near Oakton Street. The clothing and belongings found with the body match those of Searing Wangyal, who was reported missing more than 5 months ago. The Fighting Illini bounced back from their first Big Ten Conference loss of the season with a convincing hoops win, 86-80, over number 22 Wisconsin last night. DePaul beaten by Providence in the Big East, 80-63 in overtime last night. The Blue Demons fall to 7-2. The news, a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2025? That sounds like a Christmas miracle, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly what AM 560 The Answer wants to do for you. Go to 560theanswer.com/miracle to enter our Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest presented by Team Hochberg. Enter once per day, every day between now and December 20th, and you could have your rent or mortgage paid for all of next year. Go to 560theanswer.com/miracle.
Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here, and we want to tell you about our 2024 Food for the Poor campaign.
If you've listened to the station and to our show for any length of time, then you already know about Food for the Poor. They're a nonprofit, faith-based organization that provides food, water, medicine, clothing, and life-saving supplies directly to local partners in Latin America and the Caribbean.
We all know how bad the situation is right now in Latin America and the Caribbean.
For many families, the cost of food has simply become prohibitive, leading to sickness and starvation.
The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor. But in order to get this food to those who need it most, Food for the Poor needs your help. Your one-time gift of just $50 can provide life-saving food for a child for an entire year and provide their community with access to water.
To give a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673.
Or you can visit 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor or just click on the Give Life banner.
For help with thinking about retirement and how you game plan for it, we're pleased to be joined by Tim Stearns. He's the president and founder of TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights. Tim, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, thanks for having me. Amy, thank you.
So when it comes to thinking about retirement, there are the things that you have control over in terms of managing your monthly burn, but then there are things you don't, like property taxes on your home in Illinois, or like what Medicare Advantage plans might end up costing. So how do you sort of help people game plan for that in terms of, playing out sort of worst case scenario to make sure you've got a cushion?
Well, when we're doing the Protect and Grow blueprint, we are going to err on the side of very conservative numbers, but yet on the budget side of expenses go bigger and better to make sure that we are underestimating what it all is going to entail to get through a retirement. And that's really important with Medicare at this time of year. We're buried with people coming in with questions. And, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole by yourself, and we're happy to help people.
What about supplemental medical insurance?
We do that as well. That would be part of the Protect and Grow blueprint when we're helping people. The other thing I would mention is that with Donald Trump coming back into the office for another 4 years, it's a great time for Roth conversions. And that's a big conversation we're having because I would tell most baby boomers do not have a clue how much they'll be paying in retirement taxes. So we have that website, www.mvpcfp.com, that we can run a report for people, and we don't charge for that.
All right, so how can people reach you?
We're locally in Arlington Heights, 847-749-2295.
And you also have a website, TJ Stearns, STEARNS.com.
That's correct, TJ Stearns, like Earns.
Tim Stearns is the president and founder of TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights. Tim, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, thanks for having me.
Power up the holiday and give a gift from the top of their wish list. Visit your local Steel dealer or shop online at steelusa.com.
7:41 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of almostfreeteeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over if you have medical PPO insurance. Find out how you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Check if you qualify at almostfreeteeth.com. The Kennedy at an hour 10 this morning. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbound on the Kennedy out to O'Hare right now. You're jammed up Cumberland to I-190. The Ike right now at 59 minutes. Route 390 into the old post office. Stevenson at an hour 7 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And the Dan Ryan right now at 30 minutes, 95th into the Circle. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Windy with clouds, afternoon snow right in time for the afternoon rush. High near 30. And then breezy, clearing, and frigid overnight with a low of 6 above. Currently 28. Your next news update at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good Wednesday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for the lovely Dan Proft, too. I don't know if he's golfing. I don't know. I didn't ask this time.
Love that blues.
Pardon?
I love that sound that Evan now is playing.
What are you talking about? I leave for a day.
Yeah, but you didn't hear the blues? You didn't hear the music?
Oh, I did hear the
intro?
Music. Yes.
Pretty
oh,
nice.
yeah. Evan we're training him to be a new technical director.
Yeah.
For some show.
Oh, hey.
But anywho, all right. Failed President Biden, by the way, is taking a victory lap on the economy. Did you see him out there yesterday?
I did.
You know, being Biden, trying to get a legacy or find a legacy or hire a legacy.
Next month, my administration will end and a new administration will begin. Most economists agree the new administration is going to inherit a fairly strong economy. I also learned something from Donald Trump. He signed checks for people for $7,400 because we passed the plan. And I didn't, stupid.
Why does he whisper so much?
I don't know. With that, let's welcome back to the program Stephen Moore, noted economist and author of the Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again. He did that with Art Laffer. Good morning, Stephen Moore. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I'm just celebrating what a great economy, Joe Biden is handing off to Donald Trump. I mean, he must be so appreciative, President Trump, about that. But look, I mean, this is a laughable press conference that Biden had yesterday. He's talking about how great the economy is. But I just wrote a column on this about what I call the deadly 3 Ds of the Biden administration. And those 3 Ds are debt, deficits, and declining incomes. And I think, all 3 of those were a disaster for Biden, the reason he and Kamala Harris lost the election. And I think he'll go down in history as one of the worst modern-day presidents in our lifetime.
But what he said there in that soundbite, he said President Trump gave everybody $7,400. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
That's stupid. And then he's pointing to his brain saying, like, duh, stupid does, as stupid is.
Well, he was saying, baby, I don't like it when Donald Trump or Joe Biden or any politician hands out free money to people, because the only way they can hand out $1 to you is to take $1 from me. It's that simple. There's no free money. I think that these politicians in Washington think there's some kind of tooth fairy that just passes out free money. And so we've talked about this 100 times on your show, but the reason that inflation went from 1.5% to 9.1% under Trump's term was that, under Biden's term, is that he had this massive $5 trillion spending spree, all funded by printing money. And it all came to, back to bite him in the ass, because that's the reason people were so angry. Americans hate inflation. And, how many times have we talked about this over the last few years, Amy, where you tell me how much things cost in the grocery store, and I can't believe what things cost today.
Well, they still haven't gone down though. Goldfish. I mean, it was.
Well, they're not going to go down. I hate.
No, $4.99. Then it was $11.99. Now wait. Hear me out. I was at the Jewels.
Okay. Yeah.
The other day.
Yeah.
$8.99.
For
So it
what?
is doubled. So it tripled, and now it's doubled of what it used to be for a box of goldfish.
Why are you buying goldfish?
Well, because they're a great snack.
Goldfish standard. I mean, are there gold in those goldfish?
I know.
Real gold. At
So,
that price,
but-
you'd expect so.
But are we ever going to go back to normal?
Well, I mean,
Or is this our new
look,
reality?
I think, unfortunately, it is the new reality. In other words, I think the price level has permanently adjusted to this higher level. But the key for Trump is to make sure it doesn't keep going up. And, look, the Federal Reserve Board believes that the 2% is the right amount for prices to go up per year, and I'm generally with that. I think that's just a very narrow path that keeps up with the increase in productivity of providing services. But the problem is when you get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9% inflation, that just is a killer for American families. And the average family lost about $2,500 in purchasing power during Biden's term. So how can he take a victory lap on that?
I know. Well, he's not going to be paid. He's not going to have any paid speaking engagements when he's gone. And I don't even think they're going to have a presidential library for him.
Give a speech. Well, Delaware will probably have a presidential library for him. But look, it's a sad because he came in. Remember, it was exactly 4 years ago. He gave that famous speech where he said, "I'm going to unite the country." Because after COVID and Trump's first term, people wanted the country to unite. And then what he did was sprint as far to the left as he possibly could, alienated, 51% of the country. And now the Democrats have paid a high price for this. Meanwhile, are you guys paying attention to what's happening with Trump's numbers? Trump today is more popular than he's ever been since he first started running for president. It's amazing. Even guys, my Democratic friends are saying, well, maybe Trump isn't so bad. Maybe he's going to do some good things for the economy. Look at what happened with the business confidence numbers. They soared this week, the highest increase in business confidence in 30 years. You saw what happened over Thanksgiving Day weekend with massive increase in, I think, the best Black Friday sales ever. So people are feeling very upbeat about this new administration.
And then you have people like New York Governor Kathy Hochul. I mean, she was out grocery shopping yesterday because she has this new
that's conference. I know what you're talking about.
Inflation refund check. So if you make $150, no, listen. If you're single, and you make $150K or less, you get $300.
Wow.
If you're a family of 4 with making $300,000, you'll get a $500 check. Here she is shopping.
They will send you a check to buy your groceries for a month or whatever you want to spend it on. I say it's your money, it belongs in your pocket, and it's coming your way.
Yay. And the people are standing behind her with signs that say, "Show me the money," from Jerry Maguire.
I saw that. Yeah,
wow,
right.
It's so much money. What are you going to do with all that cash if you lived in New York? My goodness. Maybe pay for parking and lunch?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, that's so comical about that. First of all, she looked like she was running The Price is Right. And I'll give you $500 if you do this and that. But it was really kind of sad or funny, depending on your perspective. But when she said it's actually your money, well, yeah, if it's our money, why do you tax it from us in the first place? I mean, that's what we've been arguing forever. New York has even higher taxes than Chicago, so that tells you how high taxes are there. But that's what caused the inflation in the first place, was passing out all this free money. And by the way, where's New York going to get the money?
Right.
New York is bankrupt. I mean, how are they going to pass out $500 to people?
Steve, hey, how you doing, Steve? Before I get to my question, are you going to join the Trump administration this time around?
Maybe.
Break
I don't
news.
know. I'm not giving up this show though, the Dan and Amy show. I told the president, I'm happy to come on, come and work for you, but I'm not giving up Dan and Amy. I don't know. Look, I love what I do. I have a great life. I may go in for a little while or may not, but either way, I'll be a happy camper because I think big things are coming.
Yeah. Now, I know you're not a big fan of tariffs, and tariffs.
Yeah.
I do know.
You said Paris.
No,
I'm like, what happened?
That too, probably. But I do know that Donald Trump is a big proponent of tariffs, especially the threat of a tariff. And when you look at what happened last time we threatened China, they unleashed holy hell on us with the bubonic plague. Right. But
what is known as COVID.
But are there
Right.
any good aspects of what Trump is talking about as far as building the leverage against places like China, Mexico, Canada? Can anything good come out of his threat of the tariff?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I saw it in the first term. That's how we got NATO. Remember that none of the NATO countries were paying their dues. Remember that?
Yeah.
And Trump said, if you don't start paying your NATO dues, we're going to start hitting you with a 20% tariff. And guess what? They all ponied up. I saw it with Mexico, where Trump said, if you don't help on the border, we're not going to, you're going to pay a big hefty tariff. And guess what? They helped secure the border. People forget, under Trump, the border was secure. It was only when Biden came in that 10, 15 million illegals entered the country. And so, look, if he can use the threat of tariffs as leverage for getting other countries to do things in America's interest, I think, Amy, we talked about this last week on your show about the idea of tariffs on, Mexico and Canada if they don't keep out the illegal drugs and fentanyl, which is killing our people. But by the way, Amy, you guys, both of you, what do you think about this idea of making Canada the 51st state?
I love it.
Did you see, he's calling Trudeau the
governor.
The governor.
I know. And then Dana Perino said the other day that we're going to buy land in Canada. I'm like, what? But we can discuss that next time. We're up against the clock here.
By the way, think about how valuable land would be in Canada if they became a part of the United States.
Yeah, you can't have guns.
Stephen Moore, we're going to leave it there for today. Noted economist, all around a good guy, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Okay, get down in the snow.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer
Hallelujah! Holy
on AM 560.
Where's the Tylenol?
The Answer.
This is Sean Thompson here to tell you about our 2024 Food for the Poor campaign. We've partnered with Food for the Poor once again to provide life-saving food for thousands of children and their families in Latin America and the Caribbean. We're talking about a part of the world that continues to suffer from the effects of economic destruction and decline, political corruption, instability, gangs, high prices for food. Families are forced to skip meals for days at a time because they simply can't afford to buy food. The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor and their partners. Food for the Poor needs your help. Right now, thanks to a generous match, for one-time gift of $100, you can provide life-saving food for 2 children for an entire year. And it helps their community to gain access to water, or consider a gift of giving $200, which would provide life-saving food for 4 children for the entire year. To make a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673 or go to 560theanswer.com. Just simply click on the Give Life banner at the top of the website.
Wow. Are you buying or are you selling? As this is being written, silver is up more than 50% in just the past 8 months. And gold is the highest it's ever been. Whether you are just getting into the metals, want to roll your IRA into silver or gold, or want to take some profits off the table, Fox Valley Coins is ready, willing, and able to help. Even though Fox Valley Coins is a national dealer, they're family-owned and in your own backyard. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville almost always has the product you want in stock and pretty much always has the best pricing when you buy or sell. Buying or selling is easy. Bring your items in. We'll establish the price and pay you cash or check on the spot. Don't wait until the end of the year to move your assets around. Did you know that Fox Valley Coins has sold over 3,000 1-ounce silver Donald Trump coins? We have several designs, but they're going fast. Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 in Naperville. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
This is Sean Thompson. When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have somebody else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement, but you don't have a plan customized to your goals, it's like kind of taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in the suitcase. Sounds like a stressful way to begin what should be a relaxing time. Tom Fortino at Alpha Wealth Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to reduce future taxes, address Social Security and health care, and a whole lot more, all with a clear, defined income strategy. Call the Alpha Wealth Group at 630-934-1855. Ask for the complimentary retirement plan. That's 630-934-1855 or online at alphawealthgroup.com. And listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. right here on AM 560.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
In the heart of Bedford Falls, one man faced incredible challenges in his business journey.
George Bailey, a humble banker, knew that success often comes hand in hand with adversity. But George wasn't alone in his struggle. He discovered the power of resilience, innovation, friends, and community. Like George, your business may face obstacles, financial setbacks, fierce competition, IT nightmares, or unforeseen crises. But remember, it's not about the challenges you face. It's about how you overcome them. At Turnkey, we understand the George Bailey spirit. We're here to provide you with the solutions, guidance, and support you need to conquer your business and IT challenges. Whether you're a small-town bank, distributor, manufacturer, or a cutting-edge startup, we believe that every business has the potential to thrive. Together, we'll build a bridge to your success, just like George Bailey did in Bedford Falls. Join us at Turnkey. Let's write your own It's a Wonderful Business Life. Because like George, your dreams are worth it. Start a conversation today by visiting turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Kids headed to college? Paying for college and avoiding student loan debt has never been more challenging. Hi, I'm attorney Ray Kaplan from Kaplan Law Firm. Our student loan consultants will help you plan smarter for college by navigating and understanding all available student loan options. Schedule a consultation today at 312-294-8989 or go to financialrelief.com. The rules around student loans have never been as complex as they are today. Kaplan Law Firm, 25 East Washington Street, Chicago. Financialrelief.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his two business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Bastuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, is BLM at the end stage of the civil rights movement? We'll begin there with Scott McKay. And Scott McKay wrote a fascinating article, and I can't wait to talk to him about it, about Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They have a new mayor in town.
I read it.
And what's the latest on St. George? Remember Baton Rouge was going to split? Mm-hmm. And we have an update on that as well. And later, do you hear what I hear? We'll explain. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is the one and only Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
Alderman Advance Mayor Brandon Johnson's budget plan. An Illinois man is charged with assaulting U.S. Representative Nancy Mace at the U.S. Capitol. Remains are found in Evanston, believed to be a missing Skokie woman. State Flag Commission selects 10 finalists for the state redesign contest. And in college hoops, the Illini take down Wisconsin. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Inflation is creeping back up. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The November update just out shows consumer prices rising.
Month over month, it jumped 0.3%. Year over year, headline jumped 2.7%. Remember, though, that last month that was 2.6%. So month to month, a little bit of an edge up.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni, that's something for the Federal Reserve to factor in next week when it again considers another interest rate cut after all the rate hikes helped bring inflation down from a 2022 peak. Luigi Mangione remains in jail in Pennsylvania, and he's fighting extradition to New York, where he's charged with murder and the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. His lawyer, Thomas Dickey, says,
I haven't seen any evidence that says that he's the shooter. The concept of American justice is a presumption of innocence.
Police are going through Mangione's writings, ranting about healthcare and corporate greed, including this. Fox's Alexis McAdams reads.
Reminder, the U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly number 42 in life expectancy.
New Jersey mayors and the governor get a briefing today on the big drone drones flying over the state since mid-November. The FBI told a House hearing yesterday they don't know what they are, who's flying them. State Senator Douglas Steinhardt tells Fox they need answers.
The best information that we have available to us to this point suggests that these drones are coming from offshore, that when we try to make contact with them, they become evasive and elusive.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken will go to the Middle East today for more talks about Syria following an opposition rebel takeover. But first, Blinken faces tough questions about Afghanistan in 2021 at a House hearing, going back to when the Taliban took control amid a rushed American withdrawal that included a terror attack, killing 13 U.S. troops. A wildfire still burning out of control around Malibu, California, now has scorched about 4,000 acres. L.A. County Fire Chief Anthony Marone says
a small number of homes in the affected area have been destroyed and damaged.
More are threatened by the flames. Thousands of people told to be ready to evacuate. Thousands already have. America's listening to Fox News.
28 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Deerfield-based Walgreens is in talks to sell itself to a private equity firm, Sycamore Partners. The deal would cap a tumultuous run for the suburban retailer, whose market value shrank from a peak of over $100 billion to below $8 billion. Market insiders say Walgreens will likely be taken private. Chicago gearing up for very cold weather over the next couple of days. Forecasters believe temps will drop tonight after the snow. In response to the frigid temps, the city and suburbs are opening up a number of warming centers. A bare majority of Chicago aldermen are moving forward with Mayor Brandon Johnson's latest budget proposal. The $17.3 billion spending plan was pushed out of the Finance and Budget Committees yesterday with a heavy dose of scare tactics from Johnson ally Alderman Walter Burnett.
We have to get this thing done so that we don't close the city down. And if we do close the city down, we lose money.
The mayor and council are facing an end-of-year budget deadline. The mayor can also ill afford to lose any more votes in a divided city council. A judge is expected to rule today on potential testimony from former state representative Eddie Acevedo as former Illinois House Speaker, Democrat Michael Madigan's corruption trial enters the AT&T phase. Fighting Illini bounce back from their first Big Ten Conference loss of the year with a convincing win over number 22 Wisconsin, 86-80. Also last night in the Big East, DePaul beaten by Providence in overtime, 70-63. The Blue Demons fall to 7-2. The news service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Find out how you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. And now, the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Macy's has completed the investigation into its accounting. The company says a single employee made a mistake, then covered it up, resulting in a $151 million error in its bookkeeping. The Wall Street Journal says the Macy's employee had responsibility for its accounting involving small package delivery. The mistake was made in late 2021, but it was hidden until this fall. The employee didn't act out of personal or financial gain and has since been terminated. Walgreens could be sold. The Wall Street Journal says parent company Walgreens Boots Alliance is considering selling itself to investment firm Sycamore Partners. Wall Street will be reacting today to the latest update on inflation, the Consumer Price Index for November. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
It is 8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On Monday, January 20th, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. AM 560, The Answer, is throwing a party. Join us for our inauguration celebration on January 20th at Saddle Up Q in Aurora. Enjoy a brunch buffet with AM 560 listeners as we watch the inauguration of President Trump. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/Trump47. That's 560theanswer.com/Trump47.
Hey AM 560 homeowners, are you tired of all the money and repairs going into your house? Need an easy solution to convert your home into cash? This is Jeff from JeffBuysYourHouse.com. For nearly 20 years, our trusted, proven, and professional team has been simplifying the home selling process in Chicagoland. Here's the deal. You are in control. Pick the closing date that works best for you. No need to worry about repairs or any cleanout. We will buy your house as is, saving you frustration, time, and money. That's right, a fair cash offer within 24 hours, and we actually buy your house. No funny business. With our simple process, there are no fees and no commissions. You can trust our proven, professional, and credible service. Our local, high-integrity, and veteran-owned team will go above and beyond to make it stress-free. Sound interesting? Sell your house to the trusted source by calling us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or JeffBuysYourHouse.com.
Are your file cabinets stuffed with work orders, invoices, bills of lading, medical records, and or compliance papers? There's a solution to clear the clutter by converting your documents into accessible digital form with the help of IDT. They can scan your documents for you or provide you with the technology to transform your workspace with easy and innovative IoT smart connected scanning technology. IoT smart connected scanning not only captures your information, it connects your documents directly to your existing digital systems, ensuring seamless integration and immediate access. Plus, it works with your existing Microsoft Office 365 technology. Convert those physical files into secure, searchable, easy-to-find digital formats. Goodbye, paper chaos. Hello, streamlined, secure digital environment. Visit ready4idt.com. That's ready, the number 4idt.com. IDT, putting paper in its place.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
8:09 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is the service of almostfreeteeth.com. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Check if you qualify at almostfreeteeth.com. 8094 in Indiana, westbound between State Road 149 and the Indiana Toll Road. Very late pickup of overnight road work is due to be picked up at 6. Big delays remain. An accident, Prospect Heights, Milwaukee, and Palatine. And right now on the south side, 59th and Halstead shut down as crews work to put out hotspots from an overnight commercial fire. Let's check the Dan Ryan this morning, especially heavy between 51st and Roosevelt in the locals and 35 minutes into the circle. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Windy with clouds and sun. An afternoon snow shower expected, high 30. Then clearing and frigid, a low of 6 overnight. Currently 28 degrees. Your next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
He has spoken. Good morning, Amy Jacobson here in with John Anthony, who's in for Dan Proft. Of course, I'm talking about Daniel Penny. He gave the exclusive to Fox News' Judge Jean Pirro. Why do I always mess up her name? I'm just going to call her Judge Jean. And the former Marine described what was racing through his mind when he was on that subway floor subduing Neely.
He was just threatening to kill people. He was threatening to go to jail forever, go to jail for the rest of his life. And now where I'm on the ground with him, I'm on my back in a very vulnerable position. If I just would have let go, now he turns.
Why is that a vulnerable position?
Well, if I just let him go, I'm on my back now. He can just turn around and start doing what he said to me. So killing, hurting.
And really, he has no regrets. If he had to do it all over again, he would, even though he was called, for years by the left-wing media and pundits that he was racist and he was Hitler and all that, the routine. But no regrets here, folks.
What in you caused you to want to get involved?
I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. I think this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable. And I would prefer without it. I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed. And
now Donald Trump and Daniel Penny have something in common. D.A. Bragg tried to bring them both down, and they both won. And now, after the verdict was rendered, or he was found not guilty, of course, BLM was outside screaming.
He was hungry! He was killed for being poor! No justice, no peace! Shame on you! No justice, no peace!
And BLM was all ready to go.
They will not find a white man guilty of killing a black man in modern day America. This is no different than Jim Crow. This looks like a picture out of the picture book when you look at that anonymous jury. We have baby boomers who were there doing Jim Crow on this jury. We have young people who are looking at Daniel Penny as a hero. And what America is a hero, a killer. He didn't give a crap about Jordan. The medical examiner said Jordan turned purple. Yes, black people can turn purple when they're denied oxygen. Every lab report showed he died of asphyxiation. And that doesn't matter because they want to spare a white man the penalty of his crimes. America has not changed.
And then they were going to march. And they did have a march, but they didn't burn the city down. There was a call to burn it down, and that did not happen. With more on this and other topics, let's welcome back to the program Scott McKay, publisher of The Hayride and senior editor at American Spectator, also author of Racism, Revenge, and Ruin, and King of the Jungle. Good morning, Mr. McKay. How are you?
Hey, Amy. How's it going?
Good. So in your article that you wrote for Spectator.org is where you can find it. The civil rights era is over. Good riddance to it. You mentioned that BLM is at the end stage of the civil rights movement. What exactly does that mean?
Well, just, you played that clip of this individual who declares that, a white man can't get convicted of killing a black man. I called Derek Chauvin and asked him what he thinks of that assertion. We're a very, very, very long way from Martin Luther King in 1963, who asked to be judged by the content of his character rather than the color of his skin. And I think most Americans have long since recognized that what's left of the, quote unquote, civil rights community, when Black Lives Matter and Ben Crump and people like that are the active ingredient in it, no longer really has anything to do with civil rights. It has to do with an identity group that seeks power, for itself, for the purposes of power. And what we see with Black Lives Matter is this is the lobby group for street criminals in America. Mm-hmm. They don't represent black people because, most black people are law-abiding, and when they have interactions with the police, they don't turn violent. And they certainly don't accost people in subway cars and threaten to kill them. My guess is there were a lot more black people in that subway car who were, had those threats hurled at them than were making those threats. There was one guy who had more than 40 arrests on his record, who was a violent criminal, who was homeless by choice. This I guess it was the city of New York set this guy up in an apartment, and he picked up and left. He'd rather live on the streets. Plus, he had a fatal dose of fentanyl in his system, apparently. And so what you might have had was sort of the same sort of thing as George Floyd did in Minneapolis, which was a guy who's wigging out because he's about to die from a fentanyl overdose. And, people have to step in and prevent him from hurting other people. And it goes badly largely because of the drug. And what you could maybe say was that it was the Chinese who killed Jordan Neely. The interesting thing is back during the George Floyd days, there was some pretty credible evidence that it was China that was backing Black Lives Matter. So, at some point you recognize all of this is just a massively corrupt scheme by people who really, really don't like America. And you can act accordingly in your own defense, which is to say, we're not going to give this any credit anymore. And if they want to try to start burning cities down, we call out the National Guard and we make sure they can't do it.
Right. Are they irrelevant now? Because
I think
there was no call to arms.
I think that Black Lives Matter is now irrelevant. I think that people recognize that this is, somebody pays them to start trouble. Because the arguments don't make any sense. You can't assign any racial animus to what Daniel Penny did in saving those people from a deranged lunatic who was threatening to kill them. Like that's not James Earl Ray. Okay, this is something that is a level of absurd and a level of jump the shark that most people can't stomach, which is why when Penny was acquitted, the whole country erupted in joy. Yeah. And these idiots are out in the street in front of the courthouse acting like this was some sort of Emmett Till type situation, and that clearly didn't resonate because there's no factual basis to it.
Yeah, I do believe that there is still some relevance with BLM, the organization, because I think people there hasn't been another group that has risen up in there to take over for BLM, because BLM, I do think they're headed out the door. I don't think they're quite there just yet, because they still have money, right? Right, they still have money, and they continue to be used as a prop of the Democrat Party, and I don't think the Democrat Party has given up on them all the way. So, Scott, I agree with you in part.
Well, John, what I would say is this, and good to see you this morning.
I know.
What I would say is this. I don't disagree with you. I think the Democrats are still going to try to use BLM as, a cudgel of some sort. Uh-huh. But this is the thing, okay? We are, and I've written this a bunch at the American Spectator. I'm actually working on a book that I'm hoping I'll be able to get out by the end of January, called The Revivalist Agenda, that's going to go further on this. But on November 5th, kind of the world changed. Like, we entered a new era of American politics. Yeah. And so a lot of these old sort of things that have been going on since, 1932 almost, the assumptions about stuff have changed. Like, you can look at the Pete Hegseth confirmation, right? They were going to play the old game on Hegseth. They were going to do, the politics of personal destruction, like the Clintons used to call it. and it went nowhere, right? Because the American people were like, we're not putting up with that. We know what this is about. Y'all don't care about Pete Hegseth's, conduct in his personal life, because none of you have exemplary conduct in your personal lives. What you care about is that he's going to make changes at the Pentagon that you don't want. Right. And so a lot of this it's the same thing. Right. This is an exercise in trying to hold on to power that you don't deserve because you haven't done a good job with it. Right. And so the Democrats may continue to try to use Black Lives Matter. The problem is it makes things worse. And they're due for a time in the wilderness that will be extended if they hold on to this kind of thing.
But Scott, it also what's so much more important, to your point, is having somebody like a Donald Trump who won't falter. Because what happened in time past, Republicans would have buckled. But Donald Trump is not that average or normal Republican like we've seen in past years. He's more of a listen, man. I'm not giving up. If this is who I want, this is who I'm going to get. This is why I hate he gave up on Gates, because I would have loved to see the firestorm at DOJ with Matt Gaetz, who knows everything that's been happening over there at DOJ. I would have loved to see that fight, and I like Pam Bondi, but she's no Matt Gaetz, correct?
Yeah, well, I think Gaetz was sort of the opening sacrificial lamb on this, so that you can't accuse Trump of being, stubborn or inflexible, right? He throws Gaetz out there. Gaetz was always going to go into the media and be a talk show host. I mean, that's like what Matt Gaetz was born to do. And now he actually has sort of the scars to give him some street cred as he goes to OAN. But the thing of it is the old school Republican playbook was, at the slightest hint of trouble, you run for the hills. And that model has been broken. It doesn't work anymore. And so, you have a totally different reality, because think about everything and how it works in Washington. And it doesn't work when, especially people on the right, go, no, I don't play that game, right?
Yeah,
that's all changed. And actually, the racial piece with Black Lives Matter, and which is nothing but a game of intimidation from the very beginning to the end. Like, when nobody pays attention to that and says, yeah, that doesn't have any validity, I'm not falling for that. Like, what do you do at that point? Yeah. Think about think about Jesse Jackson and what Jesse Jackson's business model used to be, right? We go shake down corporations and say, we're going to bring idiots in red T-shirts out front of your building and protest how racist you are. And then they're supposed to just negotiate against themselves to how much money they're going to give Jesse. Yeah. When the corporation then says, no, I'm not giving you anything. How you like them apples? Like, that whole business model falls apart, right?
Great book by Kenneth Timmerman.
I think that's where we are.
Great book by Kenneth Timmerman, The Shakedown on Jesse Jackson. But I want really, really quickly, because I know Amy wants to move on. I also think Matt Gaetz was used, and I think this was day one, to expose the enemies within the Republican Party. It worked perfectly.
No doubt.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amy.
Oh, no,
yeah, no doubt. No, you got that exactly right. I think Gaetz was there to smoke out who the problem children were in the Republican Senate GOP caucus. And he did that, right? Yep. They found out the four people that I'm not voting for Matt Gaetz of any way, matter, or form or whatever. And it was like, okay, now we know the people that are going to need to be leveraged to get all of our folks confirmed.
Yep.
And so that was kind of, if you think of it as that sort of tactic, I think it was brilliant. And I think you're right that's what Gaetz was there for.
All right. One article that you wrote, Hope returns miraculously to Baton Rouge. Tell us about high school football coach Sid Edwards.
Yeah, this is an underrated story, I think. So Baton Rouge, actually, Sharon Broom, who's been the mayor of Baton Rouge for the last 8 years, is from Chicago initially. So thanks, guys. She's probably the worst mayor that we've ever had in this city. We're, I think, number 182 out of 182 in public safety. And there's a new city that got incorporated from this, a fairly wealthy area in the southern part of East Baton Rouge Parish called St. George. And the vote was like back in November of 2019. She filed a lawsuit to try to stop this thing after the voters voted to incorporate the city, and has never put the tax revenue St. George was supposed to get into escrow. So the city parish of Baton Rouge owes St. George like $250 million and could go into municipal bankruptcy as a result. So all of these things are coming, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I could bore you with about how bad she is. And, it's been 20 years since you had a Republican mayor of Baton Rouge, and none of the local Republican politicians wanted to get in. So this high school football coach who has won state championships and taken multiple teams to the playoffs, was a National High School Coach of the Year that the NFL named him a few years back. I mean, legendary figure in town, up and decides at qualifying, hey, I'm going to run for mayor. Didn't have any money. Nobody knew he had any, ambitions to get into politics. In fact, for 8 years, he didn't even vote because he just got disgusted with the whole thing. And so that was actually the big attack that they went after him. And the voters put him in 54-46 over a two-term incumbent because they were so sick and tired of typical Democrat politics and the utter failure that comes from that they were like, fine, we'll try something new. And so he's putting his transition team together now, and it's like the most exciting time that we've had in this city for a long time. 20 years ago, we used to talk about Baton Rouge as America's next great city because it has tremendous, tremendous assets and really ought to become a boom town like an Austin or a Charlotte or, you name one of these cities that's really taken off in the past 20 years. And it never happened largely because of bad policy. And so now we have a chance to reverse that. And again, it's another one of these data points toward, hey, there's something new is happening in America. It's a little different political era where things that you always thought were impossible are now possible, and things that you always thought were, this is how you handle things. You can't handle them that way anymore because people are onto the game. And so really exciting. And it's a lot of fun to see all these things happening really everywhere you turn.
Yeah, I have family in Baton Rouge, so I love that. I love visiting Baton Rouge.
Yep. All right, Scott McKay, we're going to have to leave it there for today. You can get all of his readings at spectator.org, and you definitely want to read the article, Hope Returns to Baton Rouge. So thank you, Scott McKay, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Take care, bro.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, John. Have a good one.
You too, bro.
You too, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here, and we want to tell you about our 2024 Food for the Poor campaign.
If you've listened to the station and to our show for any length of time, then you already know about Food for the Poor. They're a nonprofit, faith-based organization that provides food, water, medicine, clothing, and life-saving supplies directly to local partners in Latin America and the Caribbean.
We all know how bad the situation is right now in Latin America and the Caribbean.
For many families, the cost of food has simply become prohibitive, leading to sickness and starvation.
The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor. But in order to get this food to those who need it most, Food for the Poor needs your help. Your one-time gift of just $50 can provide life-saving food for a child for an entire year and provide their community with access to water.
To give a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673.
Or you can visit 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor or just click on the Give Life banner.
When they say free, they really mean check the fine print. They say free iPhone, but only if you trade in your $1,000 phone, pay $100 a month for unlimited data, and also a $35 activation fee. Now, Pure Talk, they have a better option. You'll get a brand new iPhone 14 with unlimited talk, text, 15 gigabytes of data, mobile hotspot for just $50 a month. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, Their U.S.-based restoration specialists will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This is David Hochberg with an emergency mortgage alert. If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. It finally happened. After 30 long and excruciating months, Fed Chair Powell just lowered interest rates 0.5 point, which means credit cards, car and home equity loans will be lower and less expensive. Most importantly, mortgage rates have dropped to their lowest levels since last February. The past 3 years have knocked out over 60% of our competition, who are back in the mall spinning pretzels and folding underpants. Team Hochberg's weathered the storm and is ready to help you, your friends, and family reduce your rate and monthly payments. If your interest rate is 7 or above, call Team Hochberg now. Not when you get home, not tomorrow, now for a complimentary mortgage review. 855-563-2843 or 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, do you hear what I hear? We'll explain and how you can get free tickets. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
8:32 on AM 560, The Answer. And a Southern California wildfire making news this morning. It's destroyed homes and forced evacuations and is still burning. Franklin fire broke out in Malibu late Monday night. A man accused of murdering the United Healthcare CEO is challenging extradition to New York State. Luigi Mangione appeared in a Pennsylvania courtroom yesterday and is ordered held without bail. The incoming Trump administration this morning is being warned by President Biden about a new national security issue. It's in a classified memo. The national security memo reportedly states that Russia is giving fighter jets and missile defense and space tech to Iran in exchange for helping Russia in its fight in Ukraine. The man caught on video leaping onto a Nevada judge earlier this year will spend 6 decades in prison. Late Tuesday, 31-year-old Deobra Redden was sentenced to 65 years behind bars. Judge Mary Kay Holtus, a court marshal, and a police officer were all injured, you may recall, in that attack. The Wall Street Journal reporting this morning that Deerfield-based Walgreens is in talks to sell itself to private equity firm Sycamore Partners. The deal would cap a tumultuous run for the retailer, who saw market value shrink from a peak of over $100 billion to below $8 billion. Market insiders say the suburban headquarters of Walgreens will likely be taken private. A bare majority of Chicago aldermen are moving forward with Mayor Brandon Johnson's latest budget proposal, a $17.3 billion spending plan. The mayor is expected to see a city council vote on that budget package later this week. However, the mayor can also not afford to lose any more votes in a divided city council. And Cubs Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg is battling cancer again. Sandberg announcing yesterday his prostate cancer has returned. Sandberg was diagnosed with cancer in January, but he was deemed cancer-free in August. Sandberg added the cancer has metastasized and spread to other organs. He will undergo more intensive treatments. Chicago sports. Fighting Illini bounced back from their first Big Ten Conference loss with a convincing win over number 22 Wisconsin, 86-80. Also last night, DePaul beat Providence 70-63 in OT. The Blue Demons fall to 7-2. The news, a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Check if you qualify, AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2025? That sounds like a Christmas miracle, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly what AM 560 The Answer wants to do for you. Go to 560theanswer.com/miracle to enter our Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest presented by Team Hochberg. Enter once per day, every day between now and December 20th, and you could have your rent or mortgage paid for all of next year. Go to 560theanswer.com/miracle.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. They're a bank with roots right here in Chicago, and their decisions are made locally too. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality this holiday season. Visit signaturebank.bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality this holiday season. Visit signaturebank.bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Spice up your Christmas with Balance of Nature's Fiber and Spice Supplement. Stir our Fiber and Spice Supplement into a glass of water with a splash of chilled apple juice to craft an amazing cider. Balance of Nature's Fiber and Spice Supplement is made with whole fiber and 12 aromatic spices like cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg. Whether you're gathered around the Christmas tree, toasting with friends, or enjoying a quiet moment by the fireplace, our Fiber and Spice Supplement welcomes every moment with its comforting embrace. As we approach this special time of year, spice up your Christmas and add the Fiber and Spice Supplement to your Christmas list. Cheers to a season filled with joy and flavorful celebrations. Merry Christmas. This season, be part of the cheer and save big with our exclusive Christmas deal. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set and get this exclusive Christmas offer by using discount code Chicago.
The new administration has hinted at one of its boldest moves yet, America's return to the gold standard. Backing the U.S. dollar with gold would create stability in a time of rapid economic change, pushing the price of gold higher than we've seen in decades. Those who act now could be positioned to benefit the most. Premier Gold specializes in helping those with a 401k, IRA, or other types of retirement accounts utilize a little-known loophole to move some of their savings into physical gold. Today, they'd like to send you a free gold standard kit to help you decide if this process is right for you. Call 606-800-8000 to take advantage of current rollover policies. Early action on physical gold could position your portfolio for maximum growth. Call Premier Gold at 606-800-8000. Call 606-800-8000 now. Premier Gold is not a financial advisor. Please consult with your advisor before investing. Call 606-800-8000.
It's your life, your legacy. Shouldn't it be your choice? For nearly 2 centuries, Catholic Cemetery Chicago has been a haven for families, offering sacred spaces to honor these legacies. Take an active role by pre-planning your final arrangements. Alleviate your loved ones a future financial burden. Lock in today's prices and take advantage of no interest payments and no hidden fees. Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
8:39, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Let's look at the roads, a service of Discover. Guess what? Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. 99%. Maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, discover.com/credit card. As you're traveling this morning, watch out for delays on the Kennedy Expressway. Fairly typical, but well over 80 minutes, an hour 20 now, almost 90 from O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange. Slow traffic on the Stevenson, Harlem to Kedzie, 1 hour into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan coming in. You're jammed up in the Express between Garfield and the Stevenson. 30 minutes from 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. A windy day ahead with clouds and sun Afternoon snow just in time for the afternoon rush, a high of 30. Breezy clearing and frigid overnight, a low of 6 above. 28 right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
'Tis the season. Welcome back. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony.
Hey,
and
hey.
for Dan Proft. This
It's the proper season.
flew by. What did you say?
It's the proper season. No
Season.
Christmas, anything until after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I stand on that.
Really? So you wouldn't be happy that I put up my Christmas lights on November
No.
6th?
No.
Why? I did a celebration of the Trump one. I'm like, you know what? I'm happy. I'm going to put up my Christmas lights.
That's what you're thankful for. Thanksgiving is the first season of thankfulness. I celebrate that before I do Christmas.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now we know where you stand. Have you gotten any Christmas cards yet?
No.
I know. Isn't it weird? Is
No.
anybody getting Christmas cards? I got one from Bob from Buffalo Grove and then from my sister-in-law, and that was it.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any. But you know what, though? I'm not giving out Christmas cards this year.
Oh, see? Look at that.
Well, because I've decided I adopted a CPS family. I don't know why I keep
Yeah,
going
they
back there.
$8.99 now, too, though.
No. And buy them because they're less fortunate, so they have a wish list. You know, it's a Secret Santa, and then you buy them the gifts that they want and wrap them up and deliver them to the school. So that's what I chose to do this year.
Yeah, but cards are
It's-
expensive.
Well, also stamps are expensive.
Yeah, that too.
My mom said, I don't even know how much it is, but it's up near, I think 70. I could look this up, or our producer could look this up. How much is a stamp? But it's expensive. So I know, and then there's people are starting to do Gmail cards instead. Have you
Oh.
noticed that?
No,
Have you ever gotten one of those?
No, no.
Like a Gmail birthday card or
No.
something. So I don't know.
That's
But 'tis the season, and we love promoting local talent and local things, and we had them on last week, but we forgot to mention a few things, and we forgot to give away free tickets.
Oh.
And with that, let's welcome back to the program Dan LaBelle. He is of T-10. They are producing the Do You Hear What I Hear musical. It's the concert that is going to be at the Des Plaines Theater tomorrow night, and we're giving away 5 sets of tickets to the 1 through 5 callers, 312-642-5600. Good morning and welcome back to the show, Daniel. How are you?
Oh, Amy, thank you so much. And John, thank you guys for having us on last week and then obviously having me on today. Also, thank you to Dan, too. You guys have been great in helping us get the news out there, spreading the word.
Yeah, so the people that, missed it last week, just tell us what Do You Hear What I Hear? And it's a musical, but it's also been picked up by some big name executive producer.
Yes, indeed. So Do You Hear What I Hear, in a nutshell, is a new Christmas musical stage play being born. We are a startup venture, a brand new company. I know particularly your radio station is all about business. So from the business aspect, you look at every kind of project as its own creative IP or what's the product. In our case, it's a new play that I've written called Do You Hear What I Hear? And to briefly just summarize it, it's about a search that takes place, a journey of a little girl who's out there searching for what Christmas is really all about. She refuses to be told by a cartoon that she sees on TV, and she goes out on her own quest, and everyone she meets along the way, they tell her in a song, and each song represents what I would say is one ingredient that makes up the recipe of Christmas. So, so basically we've penned this up, and it's a great script, and we've caught the eye of Todd Gershwin.
Oh, wow.
We've reached out to Todd Gershwin, the heir to the Gershwin Foundation, and which is not typical for Illinois, or what we call, like I said, our company's called O'Hareland. A lot of people don't realize that Chicago
is O'Hare Airport or vice versa. But it's surrounded by this great block of suburbs, and we're all from that area. So we've, kind of coined that name as a company, as the parent organization. We are in Illinois, Series LLC. And as you brought up, T-10 is the actual production company that, stages everything that we do live. So, So if there's, if you've got more questions, but Todd is, just to give you a snapshot of who the Gershwins are, George and Ira Gershwin, it goes all the way back to a legacy that's pretty much unparalleled. There's really no bigger name in theater or Broadway. There's no second, third, fourth place. They are pretty much it's not like Hollywood where you could say Stallone or Steven Spielberg or one of those kings of Hollywood, and it'd be debatable. George and Ira wrote some of the greatest stage plays ever conceived in America, and some of the greatest music. Someone to Watch Over Me, a song that was featured in Richard Dreyfuss's film Mr. Holland's Opus, to kind of jog some people's memories of who they are. But Gershwin, some statistics real fast. The Gershwin Theater is the largest theater on Broadway. Currently hosts Wicked, as we all know. Wicked is $1 billion business in its own self as a stage play, but now it's transcended onto the silver screen. Todd is instrumental in today's musicals. He's got 6 plays worldwide, including a Charlie Brown Christmas live on Broadway, and it actually is touring right now. It was just recently in Illinois. I think they've sold over 1 million tickets, so he's not kind of riding the coattails of his family. He's out there doing some pretty relatable and relative stuff. Janis Joplin is one of his bigger plays. We would be then number 7 as far as we know in his arsenal. So
eventually you hope to be on Broadway someday. This play.
Well, this play, our play is family orientated, so it falls into our viewpoint is we've had a very, very instrumental marketing genius, basically, categorize our play as something that she foresees 50 cities worldwide, as long as Christmas is celebrated on planet Earth, running 2 months a year. So, that's kind of our more focus is how do we, like Blue Man Group or Phantom or any of the great stage plays, Mamma Mia, how do you find its way through just about every town, in the world that has a great theater,
Right. Yeah. Amy, you want to learn something else about me?
Yeah.
I also used to do stage theater.
You did?
Oh, yeah, I did. So I would have been. Yeah, no, I would have been in Hardball if I had a ride to show up with the movie with Keanu Reeves. Yeah. I auditioned for the role of Inkwell that Lorenz Tate got. I did a lot of stage theater. I love it. I love stage theater. And so when is this play kick off?
So the actual musical itself is in development right now. Todd is piecing together our senior executive staff. Everything starts with the search for the director and things of that nature. So what we're doing is we're kind of it's kind of more of a marketing strategy, is to kind of give everyone the oldest selling strategy on planet Earth is to give away a sample. So in our case, what we're going to do is we're going to have a concert called Do You Hear What I Hear tomorrow night at the Des Plaines Theater. Ron Onesti has opened he has done things that no theater owner in their right mind would do by giving us this opportunity. We can't say enough about him. His website, www.oshows.com or www.thedesplainstheater.com. Both have box office features, so you can get all the information on the show. But in a nutshell, Ron is all about cultivating new ideas and new thoughts. He does do, I would guess, probably about between his two theaters, the Arcata Theater and the Des Plaines Theater. Plus, he runs Taylor Street Fest, which is, the Italian Fest, which is one of the oldest festivals, maybe in America, certainly in our city. But probably books maybe well over 900 shows a year, if I'm guessing, between all of his venues and stuff. So, yeah, he's a real force to be reckoned with. I know the Arcata is the number one now, publicized number one music venue in the Midwest. So he doesn't just have one eye on current things that are happening in entertainment and run through his theaters national, international touring artists and recording artists. He's also trying to, facilitate undiscovered talents like what we're bringing to the table. So when I approached him, he said, okay, let's do this show and get it off the ground. So we're going to be performing with locals, mostly locals, but really Chicago iconic people that might not be in the mainstream performing sector, but they are so well known and they're very, very gifted and accomplished. But we're going to perform a few select songs, some of the originals that are actually in the script itself in a concert tomorrow night.
Nice. Great. And you want to give 5 sets of tickets to the first 5 callers. 312-642-5600 is the number to call, and then we will get you hooked up with that. And Daniel LaBelle, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming back on the show, and good luck with the event tomorrow night at the Des Plaines Theater.
All right. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, John.
Hey, thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
The Answer.
You've probably heard about the efforts by automakers to take AM radio out of new vehicles. This initiative has gained momentum during the Biden administration with the push for EVs. So as we enter a new political era in 2025, it's crucial that voices like ours and the content you hear on this radio station remain accessible in every vehicle. You can help to secure the future of AM radio by texting AM to 52886 and urge your member of Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act that would keep AM radio in cars. Just text AM to 52886.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Hey, fellas, if you feel like you've lost more than a step or two, it could be low testosterone. Don't wait. Get your levels checked by my friends at Low T Center. They have over a decade of experience with testosterone therapy, or TRT. And for established patients, they offer an at-home TRT treatment that includes both lab testing and medication. The TRT plan from Low T Center is a personalized treatment plan, and the at-home TRT plan ships directly to your door. So go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment. Tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. lowtcenter.com, reinventing men's healthcare.
$20 million. No, it's not the national debt. It's the buying spree at Fox Valley Coins. And it's on from now until Thanksgiving. It's really the perfect storm. Gold and silver are at historic levels. Fox Valley Coins has a huge order to fill with one of their national clients. And September through Thanksgiving is always when coin dealers stock up for Christmas sales. They are especially looking for the old collector coins like silver dollars, all 1700s through early 1900s coins. All kinds of gold, from broken jewelry to gold bars to the old coins, U.S. and foreign. All kinds of silver, from sterling silverware to old coins and bars to Franklin Mint items. They can pay cash or check and make house calls on larger deals prior to Thanksgiving. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. They'll make free, no-obligation offers. Make that 20,000,001 reasons to go to Fox Valley Coins now. They give free in-store offers on your items.
This is Sean Thompson, here to tell you about our 2024 Food for the Poor campaign. We've partnered with Food for the Poor once again to provide life-saving food for thousands of children and their families in Latin America and the Caribbean. We're talking about a part of the world that continues to suffer from the effects of economic destruction and decline, political corruption, instability, gangs, high prices for food. Families are forced to skip meals for days at a time because they simply can't afford to buy food. The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor and their partners. Food for the Poor needs your help. Right now, thanks to a generous match, for one-time gift of $100, you can provide life-saving food for 2 children for an entire year. And it helps their community to gain access to water, or consider a gift of giving $200, which would provide life-saving food for 4 children for the entire year. To make a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673 or go to 560theanswer.com. Just simply click on the Give Life banner at the top of the website.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Are you looking for a trustworthy garage to keep your Dodge Ram 45 or 5500 Cummins engine in tip-top shape? Look no further than Remke's Garage in Marengo. At Remke's Garage, their experienced team treats every car like it's their own. Plus, they believe in transparency, no surprises, just honest service and fair pricing. Check out the incredible reviews that satisfied customers have left on Google as they speak for themselves. With state-of-the-art equipment and a commitment to quality, they're proud to be your local choice for automotive care. And here's the best part, they offer free pickup and drop-off for your convenience. Both individually owned and fleet vehicle programs available to meet your needs. So why wait? Swing by Remke's Garage today and let them get you back on the road with confidence. Visit Remke'sGarage.com. Remke's Garage, repairing America.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. I want to remind everybody about the upcoming AM 560 event. Monday, January 20th. Donald Trump is going to be sworn as the 47th president. And AM 560, The Answer, we're throwing a party, don't you know? So join us for our inauguration celebration on January 20th at Saddle Up at Q in Aurora. Have you been there,
No, I have
John?
not been there.
Okay, it's a corner of Ogden and Route 59, so enjoy a buffet lunch with AM 560 listeners as we watch the inauguration of President Trump. And don't forget that Inauguration Day is also Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so a lot of you might already be off of work. Tickets are on sale now. This will sell out. 560theanswer.com/Trump47. That's 560theanswer.com/Trump47. Thanks so much, John Anthony. We'll see you here tomorrow morning. And thanks to Justin Kosick and Quinn McCarthy. And stamp is 73 cents, by the way. Today it's going to be cold. High of 28 degrees. It is now 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
What went wrong in Afghanistan and why? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A House hearing investigating the 2021 American withdrawal as the Taliban retook control of the country is about to start.
I don't expect any great answers from Secretary of State Blinken. I think he's been avoiding us from the very get-go.
Republican Congressman Rich McCormick is on the Foreign Affairs Committee probing the U.S. exit that'll